एवं अन्य अस्पतालों द्वारा कोरोना जैसे चुनौतीपूर्ण महामारी के समय लगभग 1500 मरीजों की जान बचाई और तकरीबन 50,000 लोगों को टीकाकरण की सुविधा प्रदान की गई। CCL ने अपने समावेशी एवं सामुदायिक विकास की अवधारणा के तहत ग्रामीण इलाकों में समय समय पर आयोजित विभिन्न चिकित्सा शिविर के माध्यम से वित्तीय वर्ष 2023-24 में करीब 1.5 लाख लोगों को अपनी चिकित्सा सेवा प्रदान की है, जिसका सुखद एवं दीर्घकालीन परिणाम दिख रहा है। CCL झारखंड में CSR व्यय के मामले में सबसे अव्वल कंपनी है। कंपनी अपने कमांड क्षेत्र एवं राज्यों के अन्य हिस्सों में बसे ग्रामीणों के शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य, खेल एवं कौशल विकास आदि के साथ साथ पर्यावरण और वन्य जीवों के संरक्षण के प्रति भी संवेदनशील है। CCL द्वारा चलाए जा रहे CCL के लाल और CCL के लाडली शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में एक महत्वाकांक्षी योजना है, जिसके अंतर्गत गरीब पृष्ठभूमि के मेधावी छात्र छात्राओं को CCL में कार्यरत IIT के पूर्व छात्रों द्वारा इंजीनियरिंग की प्रवेश परीक्षा के लिए निःशुल्क कोचिंग प्रदान किया जाता है। साथ ही इनके रहने, खाने एवं स्कूली शिक्षा की सुविधा भी प्रदान की जाती है। इन छात्राओं का चयन राज्य व्यापी प्रवेश परीक्षा के माध्यम से की जाती है। इसकी सफलता इसी से आकी जा सकती है कि स्थापना से अब तक 100 से अधिक छात्र छात्राओं को देश के प्रतिष्ठित इंजीनियरिंग संस्थान में दाखिला हो चुका है। आज देश के अलग अलग हिस्सों में ये बच्चे बड़े बड़े कॉर्पोरेट कंपनियों में अपनी सेवाएं दे रहे हैं। ऐसा ही एक मेधावी छात्र श्री मातुल भागेल ने CCL के लाल योजना से NIT रायपुर से शिक्षा प्राप्त कर CCL के नॉर्थ करनपुरा क्षेत्र में इंजीनियर के रूप में कार्यरत है। कोयलांचल के स्थानीय युवाओं के खेल प्रतिभा को उड़ान देने के लक्ष्य के साथ CCL अपने CSR योजना के अंतर्गत JSSPS यानी झारखंड राज्य खेल प्रोत्साहन सोसाइटी स्पोर्ट्स एकेडमी का सफल संचालन कर रहा है, जो कि CCL एवं झारखंड सरकार की एक संयुक्त पहल है। JSSPS के खिलाड़ियों द्वारा अब तक लगभग 1400 पदक जीतकर झारखंड सहित देश को गौरवान्वित किया है, जिसमें 15 अंतर्राष्ट्रीय पदक शामिल हैं। CCL सामाजिक दायित्व का पूरा ख्याल रखते हुए हजारीबाग क्षेत्र में मशरूम फार्मिंग का प्रशिक्षण और उसके बिक्री के लिए बाजार उपलब्ध कराकर लोगों को स्वावलंबी बना रहा है। यहाँ की महिलाओं ने मशरूम फार्मिंग को अपनाकर अपने आय के स्रोत को बढ़ाया है और अन्य लोगों के लिए भी एक उदाहरण बनकर सामने आ रहा है। सुरक्षित एवं पर्यावरण अनुकूल खनन द्वारा निकले गुणवत्ता युक्त कोयले से हम राष्ट्र को रोशन कर रहे हैं। प्रकृति की गोद से काला हीरा निकालकर हम उसके मूल स्वरूप को पुनः स्थापित करते हैं। उच्च एवं आधुनिक मशीनी बेड़े से सुसज्जित CCL खदानों का कोयला देश की बिजली उत्पादन में अहम योगदान दे रहा है। आज CCL 100 मिलियन टन कोयला उत्पादन के लक्ष्य के साथ आगे बढ़ रही है। CCL अब नई तकनीकों का इस्तेमाल कर रही है, जिससे न केवल उत्पादन बढ़ रहा है, बल्कि सुरक्षा और पर्यावरण पर प्रतिकूल प्रभाव भी कम हो रहा है। इस प्रकार CCL न केवल भारत के ऊर्जा उत्पादन का मुख्य आधार है, बल्कि ये लाखों लोगों के सपनों और संघर्षों का प्रतीक भी है। धन्यवाद।
when the nation called, he led from the front. Architect of strategic brilliance, embodiment of courage and discipline. Commander during the Kargil War 1999. Recipient of Param Vishesh Seva Medal and Ati Vishesh Seva Medal. CCL welcomes General Ved Prakash Malik, Chief of the Indian Army during the Kargil War.
जोहार, आइए हम आपका परिचय कराते हैं। देश की एक प्रतिष्ठित कोयला कंपनी सेंट्रल कोलफील्ड्स लिमिटेड यानी CCL से कोयला मंत्रालय भारत सरकार के अधीन कार्यरत विश्व की सबसे बड़ी कोयला उत्पादन कंपनी कोल इंडिया लिमिटेड की अनुषंगी कंपनी सेंट्रल कोलफील्ड्स लिमिटेड यानी झारखंड की लाइफलाइन की राष्ट्र के ऊर्जा प्रहरी CCL का गौरवपूर्ण सफर NCDC यानी नेशनल कोल डेवलपमेंट कॉर्पोरेशन के रूप में शुरू होता है। आजादी के बाद भारत में ऊर्जा का मुख्य स्रोत कोयला ही था। देश की ऊर्जा जरूरतों की पूर्ति हेतु नए कोयला क्षेत्रों की खोज एवं कोयला खदानों के विकास में तेजी लाने के उद्देश्य से कोयला खदानों के राष्ट्रीयकरण की शुरुआत NCDC के रूप में हुई। 1 अक्टूबर 1956 को 11 कोयला खदानों को मिलाकर NCDC की स्थापना हुई। CCL 1 नवंबर 1975 को कोल इंडिया लिमिटेड के अनुषंगी कंपनी के तौर पर स्थापित हुआ। CCL का खनन कार्य झारखंड राज्य के 8 जिलों में होता है तथा इसका मुख्यालय रांची में स्थित है। CCL देश को ऊर्जा के क्षेत्र में आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के लिए नित्य प्रगति के पथ पर अग्रसर है। CCL न सिर्फ कोयला का उत्पादन करता है बल्कि अपने कर्मियों, हितधारकों, ग्रामीणों, उनके परिवारजनों एवं आम जनों के सर्वांगीण विकास के लिए भी तत्पर है। CCL कोयला उत्पादन के लक्ष्य प्राप्ति के साथ साथ कोयला के प्रेषण एवं OBR के क्षेत्र में नई ऊंचाइयों को छू रहा है। CCL पर्यावरण संरक्षण के प्रति भी संवेदनशील है। इस दिशा में पहल करते हुए CCL जमीन संरक्षण के लिए 9 नए इको पार्क का निर्माण करा रहा है। ये पार्क सिर्फ मनोरंजन का स्थान नहीं है बल्कि पर्यटन एवं पर्यावरण शिक्षा का भी केंद्र है। हाल के वर्षों में भारत ने नवीनीकरणीय ऊर्जा के क्षेत्र में भी कदम बढ़ाए हैं। इसी के तहत पिपरवार क्षेत्र में 20 MW क्षमता वाला सौर ऊर्जा संयंत्र का निर्माण किया गया है, जो कि एक प्रशंसनीय कदम है। इसके अलावा अन्य कई सौर ऊर्जा संयंत्र एवं रूफटॉप सौर संयंत्र का निर्माण भी प्रगति पर है। CCL कार्बन उत्सर्जन को कम करने एवं नेट जीरो लक्ष्य में योगदान करने हेतु रजरप्पा एवं आम्रपाली परियोजना में मियावाकी पद्धति का उपयोग करके झारखंड की 1 लाख देशी प्रजातियों का पौधारोपण किया गया है, जो कि पर्यावरणीय स्थिरता को बढ़ाने की दिशा में एक उल्लेखनीय पहल है। इसी क्रम में CCL देश की ऊर्जा जरूरतों को पूरा करने की प्रतिबद्धता के साथ अपने कर्मियों और हितधारकों के स्वास्थ्य के प्रति भी उतनी ही सजग और गंभीर है। बेहतर चिकित्सा सेवा उपलब्ध कराने के उद्देश्य से झारखंड की राजधानी रांची में CCL द्वारा गांधीनगर अस्पताल की स्थापना की गई। यहाँ प्रतिदिन कर्मियों के साथ साथ हितधारक, परिवारजन एवं आम जन बेहतर चिकित्सा सुविधा के लिए आते हैं। 218 अनुभवी चिकित्सक, 69 एम्बुलेंस, 387 पैरामेडिकल स्टाफ, आवश्यक आधुनिक तकनीक चिकित्सा उपकरण, ICU, कैंटीन, आराम कक्ष, पुस्तकालय इत्यादि से लैस गांधीनगर अस्पताल एक DNB प्रमाणित अस्पताल है। CCL के गांधीनगर एवं अन्य अस्पतालों द्वारा कोरोना जैसे चुनौतीपूर्ण महामारी के समय लगभग 1500 मरीजों की जान बचाई और तकरीबन 50,000 लोगों को टीकाकरण की सुविधा प्रदान की गई। CCL ने अपने समावेशी एवं सामुदायिक विकास की अवधारणा के तहत ग्रामीण इलाकों में समय समय पर आयोजित विभिन्न चिकित्सा शिविर के माध्यम से वित्तीय वर्ष 2023-24 में करीब 1.5 लाख लोगों को अपनी चिकित्सा सेवा प्रदान की हैं, जिसका सुखद एवं दीर्घकालीन परिणाम दिख रहा है। CCL झारखंड में CSR व्यय के मामले में सबसे अव्वल कंपनी है। कंपनी अपने कमांड क्षेत्र एवं राज्यों के अन्य हिस्सों में बसे ग्रामीणों के शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य, खेल एवं कौशल विकास आदि के साथ साथ पर्यावरण और वन्य जीवों के संरक्षण के प्रति भी संवेदनशील है। CCL द्वारा चलाए जा रहे CCL के लाल और CCL के लाडली शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में एक महत्वाकांक्षी योजना है, जिसके अंतर्गत गरीब पृष्ठभूमि के मेधावी छात्र छात्राओं को CCL में कार्यरत IIT के पूर्व छात्रों द्वारा इंजीनियरिंग की प्रवेश परीक्षा के लिए निःशुल्क कोचिंग प्रदान किया जाता है। साथ ही इनके रहने, खाने एवं स्कूली शिक्षा की सुविधा भी प्रदान की जाती है। इन छात्राओं का चयन राज्यव्यापी प्रवेश परीक्षा के माध्यम से की जाती है। इसकी सफलता इसी से आकी जा सकती है कि स्थापना से अब तक 100 से अधिक छात्र छात्राओं को देश के प्रतिष्ठित इंजीनियरिंग संस्थान में दाखिला हो चुका है। आज देश के अलग अलग हिस्सों में ये बच्चे बड़े बड़े कॉर्पोरेट कंपनियों में अपनी सेवाएं दे रहे हैं। ऐसा ही एक मेधावी छात्र श्री मातुल भागेल ने CCL के लाल योजना से NIT रायपुर से शिक्षा प्राप्त कर CCL के नॉर्थ करनपुरा क्षेत्र में इंजीनियर के रूप में कार्यरत है। कोयलांचल के स्थानीय युवाओं के खेल प्रतिभा को उड़ान देने के लक्ष्य के साथ CCL अपने CSR योजना के अंतर्गत JSSPS यानी झारखंड राज्य खेल प्रोत्साहन सोसाइटी स्पोर्ट्स एकेडमी का सफल संचालन कर रहा है, जो कि CCL एवं झारखंड सरकार की एक संयुक्त पहल है। JSSPS के खिलाड़ियों द्वारा अब तक लगभग 1400 पदक जीतकर झारखंड सहित देश को गौरवान्वित किया है, जिसमें 15 अंतर्राष्ट्रीय पदक शामिल हैं। CCL सामाजिक दायित्व का पूरा ख्याल रखते हुए हजारीबाग क्षेत्र में मशरूम फार्मिंग का प्रशिक्षण और उसके बिक्री के लिए बाजार उपलब्ध कराकर लोगों को स्वावलंबी बना रहा है। यहाँ की महिलाओं ने मशरूम फार्मिंग को अपनाकर अपने आय के स्रोत को बढ़ाया है और अन्य लोगों के लिए भी एक उदाहरण बनकर सामने आ रहा है। सुरक्षित एवं पर्यावरण अनुकूल खनन द्वारा निकले गुणवत्ता युक्त कोयले से हम राष्ट्र को रोशन कर रहे हैं। प्रकृति की गोद से काला हीरा निकालकर हम उसके मूल स्वरूप को पुनः स्थापित करते हैं। उच्च एवं आधुनिक मशीनी बेड़े से सुसज्जित CCL खदानों का कोयला देश की बिजली उत्पादन में अहम योगदान दे रहा है। आज CCL 100 मिलियन टन कोयला उत्पादन के लक्ष्य के साथ आगे बढ़ रही है। CCL अब नई तकनीकों का इस्तेमाल कर रही है, जिससे न केवल उत्पादन बढ़ रहा है, बल्कि सुरक्षा और पर्यावरण पर प्रतिकूल प्रभाव भी कम हो रहा है। इस प्रकार CCL न केवल भारत के ऊर्जा उत्पादन का मुख्य आधार है, बल्कि ये लाखों लोगों के सपनों और संघर्षों का प्रतीक भी है। धन्यवाद।
हमारे मिले कदम, हमारा चौड़ा सीना, विशाल कंधे हमारे, हाथ फौलाद हमारे। हम हैं आग, हम हैं बिजली, हम हैं शक्ति की खान, हम हैं कोल इंडिया, कोल इंडिया हम। अंधेरे से खोद लाते हम उजाले खुशियों के, चट्टाने फोड़ जुटाते
when the nation called, he led from the front. Architect of strategic brilliance, embodiment of courage and discipline. Commanded during the Kargil War 1999. Recipient of Param Vishesh Seva Medal and Ati Vishesh Seva Medal. CCL welcomes General Ved Prakash Malik, Chief of the Indian Army during the Kargil War.
जोहार, आइए हम आपका परिचय कराते हैं। देश की एक प्रतिष्ठित कोयला कंपनी सेंट्रल कोलफील्ड्स लिमिटेड यानी CCL से कोयला मंत्रालय भारत सरकार के अधीन कार्यरत विश्व की सबसे बड़ी कोयला उत्पादन कंपनी कोल इंडिया लिमिटेड की अनुषंगी कंपनी सेंट्रल कोलफील्ड्स लिमिटेड यानी झारखंड की लाइफलाइन की राष्ट्र के ऊर्जा प्रहरी CCL का गौरवपूर्ण सफर NCDC यानी नेशनल कोल डेवलपमेंट कॉर्पोरेशन के रूप में शुरू होता है। आजादी के बाद भारत में ऊर्जा का मुख्य स्रोत कोयला ही था। देश की ऊर्जा जरूरतों की पूर्ति हेतु नए कोयला क्षेत्रों की खोज एवं कोयला खदानों के विकास में तेजी लाने के उद्देश्य से कोयला खदानों के राष्ट्रीयकरण की शुरुआत NCDC के रूप में हुई। 1 अक्टूबर 1956 को 11 कोयला खदानों को मिलाकर NCDC की स्थापना हुई। CCL 1 नवंबर 1975 को कोल इंडिया लिमिटेड के अनुषंगी कंपनी के तौर पर स्थापित हुआ। CCL का खनन कार्य झारखंड राज्य के 8 जिलों में होता है तथा इसका मुख्यालय रांची में स्थित है। CCL देश को ऊर्जा के क्षेत्र में आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के लिए नित्य प्रगति के पथ पर अग्रसर है। CCL न सिर्फ कोयला का उत्पादन करता है बल्कि अपने कर्मियों, हितधारकों, ग्रामीणों, उनके परिवारजनों एवं आम जनों के सर्वांगीण विकास के लिए भी तत्पर है। CCL कोयला उत्पादन के लक्ष्य प्राप्ति के साथ साथ कोयला के प्रेषण एवं OBR के क्षेत्र में नई ऊंचाइयों को छू रहा है। CCL पर्यावरण संरक्षण के प्रति भी संवेदनशील है। इस दिशा में पहल करते हुए CCL जमीन संरक्षण के लिए 9 नए इको पार्क का निर्माण करा रहा है। ये पार्क सिर्फ मनोरंजन का स्थान नहीं है बल्कि पर्यटन एवं पर्यावरण शिक्षा का भी केंद्र है। हाल के वर्षों में भारत ने नवीनीकरणीय ऊर्जा के क्षेत्र में भी कदम बढ़ाए हैं। इसी के तहत पीपरवार क्षेत्र में 20 MW क्षमता वाला सौर ऊर्जा संयंत्र का निर्माण किया गया है, जो कि एक प्रशंसनीय कदम है। इसके अलावा अन्य कई सौर ऊर्जा संयंत्र एवं रूफटॉप सौर संयंत्र का निर्माण भी प्रगति पर है। CCL कार्बन उत्सर्जन को कम करने एवं नेट जीरो लक्ष्य में योगदान करने हेतु रजरप्पा एवं आम्रपाली परियोजना में मियावाकी पद्धति का उपयोग करके झारखंड की 1 लाख देशी प्रजातियों का पौधारोपण किया गया है, जो कि पर्यावरणीय स्थिरता को बढ़ाने की दिशा में एक उल्लेखनीय पहल है। इसी क्रम में CCL देश की ऊर्जा जरूरतों को पूरा करने की प्रतिबद्धता के साथ अपने कर्मियों और हितधारकों के स्वास्थ्य के प्रति भी उतनी ही सजग और गंभीर है। बेहतर चिकित्सा सेवा उपलब्ध कराने के उद्देश्य से झारखंड की राजधानी रांची में CCL द्वारा गांधीनगर अस्पताल की स्थापना की गई। यहाँ प्रतिदिन कर्मियों के साथ साथ हितधारक, परिवारजन एवं आम जन बेहतर चिकित्सा सुविधा के लिए आते हैं। 218 अनुभवी चिकित्सक, 69 एम्बुलेंस, 387 पैरामेडिकल स्टाफ, आवश्यक आधुनिक तकनीक चिकित्सा उपकरण, ICU, कैंटीन, आराम कक्ष, पुस्तकालय इत्यादि से लैस गांधीनगर अस्पताल एक DNB प्रमाणित अस्पताल है। CCL के गांधीनगर एवं अन्य अस्पतालों द्वारा कोरोना जैसे चुनौतीपूर्ण महामारी के समय लगभग 1500 मरीजों की जान बचाई और तकरीबन 50,000 लोगों को टीकाकरण की सुविधा प्रदान की गई। CCL ने अपने समावेशी एवं सामुदायिक विकास की अवधारणा के तहत ग्रामीण इलाकों में समय समय पर आयोजित विभिन्न चिकित्सा शिविर के माध्यम से वित्तीय वर्ष 2023-24 में करीब 1.5 लाख लोगों को अपनी चिकित्सा सेवा प्रदान की हैं, जिसका सुखद एवं दीर्घकालीन परिणाम दिख रहा है। सीसीएल झारखंड में सीएसआर व्यय के मामले में सबसे अव्वल कंपनी है। कंपनी अपने कमांड क्षेत्र एवं राज्यों के अन्य हिस्सों में बसे ग्रामीणों के शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य, खेल एवं कौशल विकास आदि के साथ साथ पर्यावरण और वन्य जीवों के संरक्षण के प्रति भी संवेदनशील है। सीसीएल द्वारा चलाए जा रहे सीसीएल के लाल और सीसीएल के लाडली शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में एक महत्वाकांक्षी योजना है, जिसके अंतर्गत गरीब पृष्ठभूमि के मेधावी छात्र छात्राओं को सीसीएल में कार्यरत आईआईटी के पूर्व छात्रों द्वारा इंजीनियरिंग की प्रवेश परीक्षा के लिए निःशुल्क कोचिंग प्रदान किया जाता है। साथ ही इनके रहने, खाने एवं स्कूली शिक्षा की सुविधा भी प्रदान की जाती है। इन छात्राओं का चयन राज्यव्यापी प्रवेश परीक्षा के माध्यम से की जाती है। इसकी सफलता इसी से आकी जा सकती है कि स्थापना से अब तक 100 से अधिक छात्र छात्राओं को देश के प्रतिष्ठित इंजीनियरिंग संस्थान में दाखिला हो चुका है। आज देश के अलग अलग हिस्सों में ये बच्चे बड़े बड़े कॉर्पोरेट कंपनियों में अपनी सेवाएं दे रहे हैं। ऐसा ही एक मेधावी छात्र श्री मातुल भागेल ने सीसीएल के लाल योजना से एनआईटी रायपुर से शिक्षा प्राप्त कर सीसीएल के नॉर्थ करनपुरा क्षेत्र में इंजीनियर के रूप में कार्यरत है। कोयलांचल के स्थानीय युवाओं की खेल प्रतिभा को उड़ान देने के लक्ष्य के साथ सीसीएल अपने सीएसआर योजना के अंतर्गत जेएसएसपीएस यानी झारखंड राज्य खेल प्रोत्साहन सोसाइटी स्पोर्ट्स एकेडमी का सफल संचालन कर रहा है, जो कि सीसीएल एवं झारखंड सरकार की एक संयुक्त पहल है। जेएसएसपीएस के खिलाड़ियों द्वारा अब तक लगभग 1400 पदक जीतकर झारखंड सहित देश को गौरवान्वित किया है, जिसमें 15 अंतर्राष्ट्रीय पदक शामिल हैं। सीसीएल सामाजिक दायित्व का पूरा ख्याल रखते हुए हजारीबाग क्षेत्र में मशरूम फार्मिंग का प्रशिक्षण और उसके बिक्री के लिए बाजार उपलब्ध कराकर लोगों को स्वावलंबी बना रहा है। यहाँ की महिलाओं ने मशरूम फार्मिंग को अपनाकर अपने आय के स्रोत को बढ़ाया है और अन्य लोगों के लिए भी एक उदाहरण बनकर सामने आ रहा है। सुरक्षित एवं पर्यावरण अनुकूल खनन द्वारा निकले गुणवत्ता युक्त कोयले से हम राष्ट्र को रोशन कर रहे हैं। प्रकृति की गोद से काला हीरा निकालकर हम उसके मूल स्वरूप को पुनः स्थापित करते हैं। उच्च एवं आधुनिक मशीनी बेड़े से सुसज्जित सीसीएल खदानों का कोयला देश की बिजली उत्पादन में अहम योगदान दे रहा है। आज सीसीएल 100 मिलियन टन कोयला उत्पादन के लक्ष्य के साथ आगे बढ़ रही है। सीसीएल अब नई तकनीकों का इस्तेमाल कर रही है, जिससे न केवल उत्पादन बढ़ रहा है, बल्कि सुरक्षा और पर्यावरण पर प्रतिकूल प्रभाव भी कम हो रहा है। इस प्रकार सीसीएल न केवल भारत के ऊर्जा उत्पादन का मुख्य आधार है, बल्कि ये लाखों लोगों के सपनों और संघर्षों का प्रतीक भी है। धन्यवाद।
हमारे मिले कदम, हमारा चौड़ा सीना,
When the nation called, he led from the front. Architect of strategic brilliance, embodiment of courage and discipline. Commanded during the Kargil War 1999. Recipient of Param Vishesh Seva Medal and Ati Vishesh Seva Medal. CCL welcomes General Ved Prakash Malik, Chief of the Indian Army during the Kargil War. When the nation called, he led from the front. Architect of strategic brilliance, embodiment of courage and discipline. Commanded during the Kargil War 1999. Recipient of Param Vishesh Seva Medal and Ati Vishesh Seva Medal. CCL welcomes General Ved Prakash Malik, Chief of the Indian Army during the Kargil War. When the nation called, he led from the front. Architect of strategic brilliance, embodiment of courage and discipline. Commanded during the Kargil War 1999. Recipient of Param Vishesh Seva Medal and Ati Vishesh Seva Medal. CCL welcomes General Ved Prakash Malik, Chief of the Indian Army during the Kargil War. When the nation called, he led from the front. Architect of strategic brilliance, embodiment of courage and discipline. Commanded during the Kargil War 1999. Recipient of Param Vishesh Seva Medal and Ati Vishesh Seva Medal. CCL welcomes General Ved Prakash Malik, Chief of the Indian Army during the Kargil War. When the nation called, he led from the front. Architect of strategic brilliance, embodiment of courage and discipline. Commanded during the Kargil War 1999. Recipient of Param Vishesh Seva Medal and Ati Vishesh Seva Medal. CCL welcomes General Ved Prakash Malik, Chief of the Indian Army during the Kargil War. When the nation called, he led from the front. Architect of strategic brilliance, embodiment of courage and discipline. Commanded during the Kargil War 1999. Recipient of Param Vishesh Seva Medal and Ati Vishesh Seva Medal. CCL welcomes General Ved Prakash Malik, Chief of the Indian Army during the Kargil War. When the nation called, he led from the front. Architect of strategic brilliance, embodiment of courage and discipline. Commanded during the Kargil War 1999. Recipient of Param Vishesh Seva Medal and Ati Vishesh Seva Medal. CCL welcomes General Ved Prakash Malik, Chief of the Indian Army during the Kargil War. When the nation called, he led from the front. Architect of strategic brilliance, embodiment of courage and discipline. Commanded during the Kargil War 1999. Recipient of Param Vishesh Seva Medal and Ati Vishesh Seva Medal. CCL welcomes General Ved Prakash Malik, Chief of the Indian Army during the Kargil War. When the nation called, he led from the front. Architect of strategic brilliance, embodiment of courage and discipline. Commander during the Kargil War 1999. Recipient of Param Vishesh Seva Medal and Ati Vishesh Seva Medal.
Check.
CCL
Check.
welcomes General Ved Prakash Malik, Chief of the Indian Army during the Kargil War.
देवियों और सज्जनों, कुछ ही समय में हम आज के इस कार्यक्रम का आगाज़ करेंगे। इससे पहले कि हमारे विशिष्ट अतिथिगण हमारे समक्ष उपस्थित हों, आप सभी से निवेदन करूंगी कि कृपया आप सभी अपना मोबाइल फ़ोन्स साइलेंट या वाइब्रेशन मोड पर रखें, ताकि इस कार्यक्रम के दौरान किसी भी प्रकार से भ्रमित होने की आशंका ना रहे।
When the nation called, he led from the front. Architect of strategic brilliance, embodiment of courage and discipline. Commander during the Kargil War 1999. Recipient of Param Vishesh Seva Medal and Ati Vishesh Seva Medal. CCL welcomes General Ved Prakash Malik, Chief of the Indian Army during the Kargil War. When the nation called, he led from the front. Architect of strategic brilliance, embodiment of courage and discipline. Commander during the Kargil War 1999. Recipient of Param Vishesh Seva Medal and Ati Vishesh Seva Medal.
Check.
CCL welcomes General Ved Prakash Malik, Chief of the Indian Army during the Kargil War. When the nation called, he led from the front. Architect of strategic brilliance, embodiment of courage and discipline. commanded during the Kargil War 1999. Recipient of Param Vishesh Seva Medal and Ati Vishesh Seva Medal. CCL welcomes General Ved Prakash Malik, Chief of the Indian Army during the Kargil War. When the nation called, he led from the front. Architect of strategic brilliance, embodiment of courage and discipline. Commanded during the Kargil War 1999. Recipient of Param Vishesh Seva Medal and Ati Vishesh Seva Medal. CCL welcomes General Ved Prakash Malik, Chief of the Indian Army during the Kargil War. When the nation called, he led from the front. Architect of strategic brilliance, embodiment of courage and discipline. Commanded during the Kargil War 1999. Recipient of Param Vishesh Seva Medal and Ati Vishesh Seva Medal. CCL welcomes General Ved Prakash Malik, Chief of the Indian Army during the Kargil War.
Good evening. May I request you to please be seated? Good evening, Namaskar, Johar everyone. I am Tina Roy, Senior Manager HR. I, on behalf of CCL Central Coalfields Limited, extend a very warm welcome to all of you here today on this momentous occasion. A hearty welcome to General Malik, Ved Prakash Malik sir, from the hallowed land of Jharkhand, forever sanctified by the indomitable spirit of Bhagwan Birsa Munda, the revered freedom fighter, whose legacy continues to inspire generations, sir. On behalf of the entire CCL family here, we extend our warmest greetings. As you stand on this soil, sir, we are reminded of the very ethos that has guided your distinguished career and the brave soldiers of our Indian Army. Naam, Namak, Nishan, the unwavering commitment to honor, loyalty, and the flag. We are gathered here, sir, for Coal India Limited's Golden Jubilee Lecture Series, commemorating its 50th Foundation Day. This is the 4th edition of the series, and the theme of the day is Leading with Honor in Uncertain Times, Ethical Leadership Forged in a Kargil War.
न थके हैं पाँव कभी,
न थके हैं पाँव कभी और ना कभी हिम्मत हारी है, न थके हैं पाँव कभी और ना कभी हिम्मत हारी है। मैंने देखे हैं कई दौर, मैंने देखे हैं कई दौर, और आज भी सफ़र जारी है, और आज भी सफ़र जारी है। यह पंक्तियाँ कोल इंडिया लिमिटेड के 50 वर्षों की उस यात्रा की गवाही देती है जिसमें चुनौतियाँ आई, रास्ते बदले, लेकिन कदम कभी नहीं रुके। और आज हम इस ऐतिहासिक एवं स्वर्णिम अवसर का उत्सव मना रहे हैं। और आज के इसी स्वर्णिम अवसर पर मैं सुगंधा वर्मा, सीनियर मैनेजर एचआर, आप सभी का पुनः एक बार फिर से सेंट्रल कोलफील्ड्स लिमिटेड के रमणीक प्रांगण में और इस भव्य सभागार में हृदय की अंतिम गहराइयों से स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करती हूँ। देवियों और सज्जनों, जैसा कि आप सभी जानते हैं, हम आज यहाँ पर एक लेक्चर सीरीज़ के अंतर्गत एकत्रित हुए हैं। इसी क्रम में अग्रसर होते हुए सर्वप्रथम इस सभागार की अग्रिम पंक्तियों में अपने स्थान को सुरक्षित कर बैठे हमारे कंपनी के मुखिया लोगों का स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करेंगे। आप सभी की तालियों की गड़गड़ाहट के बीच स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करती हूँ हमारे मुखिया, हमारे अध्यक्ष श्री नीलेंदु कुमार सिंह सर, जिनके कुशल नेतृत्व में सेंट्रल कोलफील्ड्स लिमिटेड दिन दुगनी और रात चौगनी तरक्की कर रहा है। आपकी तालियों की आवश्यकता होगी। स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करती हूँ श्री हर्षनाथ मिश्रा सर, डायरेक्टर एचआर। मैं स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करती हूँ डीटी पीएनपी श्री शंकर नागाचारी सर का। मैं स्वागत करती हूँ श्री सीएस तिवारी डीटी ऑपरेशंस सर का। मैं स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करती हूँ श्री अजय कुमार सर डीटी सीएमपीडीआईएल का। तालियों की गड़गड़ाहट बजती रहनी चाहिए ताकि सेंट्रल कोलफील्ड्स की तरफ से हमारे अतिथियों को एक जोरदार स्वागत मिले। स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करती हूँ एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर कोल इंडिया लिमिटेड श्री ओपी मिश्रा सर का और एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर आईआईसीएम डॉक्टर कामाक्षी रमन मैडम का। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सहभागी होने के लिए। इसी क्रम में भारतीय संस्कृति की जो समृद्धि है उससे आप सभी वाकिफ़ हैं। हमारी परंपरा काफ़ी रिच है, तो इसी परंपरा को आगे बढ़ाते हुए हम आज के हमारे अतिथि जो हमारे बीच मौजूद हैं उनके स्वागत सत्कार में हम अग्रसर होंगे। मैं सादर निवेदन करूंगी हमारे मुखिया सम्माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय श्री नीलेंदु कुमार सिंह सर से कि वे शॉल, श्रीफल एवं पुष्पगुच्छ भेंट कर हमारे मुख्य अतिथि जनरल वेद प्रकाश मलिक सर का औपचारिक रूप से स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करें। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर, आपने अपना बहुमूल्य समय निकालकर CCL की धरती को गौरवान्वित किया है। शॉल गरिमा और सम्मान का प्रतीक है, श्रीफल समर्पण और शुभकामनाओं का प्रतीक है, और पुष्पगुच्छ हमारी भावनाओं और आदर का एक सुगंधित संदेश। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर। यह सम्मान केवल एक व्यक्ति का नहीं बल्कि उस भावना का है जो देश की रक्षा के लिए हमेशा समर्पित रहती है। हमारे अग्रजन का स्वागत अब हमने कर लिया, साथ ही साथ इस सभागार में आज अपना बहुमूल्य समय निकालकर पधारे अन्य फंक्शनल डायरेक्टर्स, CMDs जो अन्य कंपनियों से पधारे हैं, डायरेक्टर्स जो अन्य कंपनियों से पधारे हैं, JCSC मेंबर्स, सेफ्टी बोर्ड मेंबर्स, वेलफेयर बोर्ड मेंबर्स, हेडक्वार्टर ट्रेड यूनियन मेंबर्स, सभी अधिकारी एवं कर्मचारीगण जो CCL के एरियाज़ एंड यूनिट से कोल इंडिया यहाँ हेडक्वार्टर्स पधारे हैं सिर्फ कोल इंडिया के इस लेक्चर को सुनने के लिए, उन सभी का स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करती हूँ। साथ ही साथ मैं स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करती हूँ उन सभी अधिकारी और कर्मचारीगण का जो आज हमारे साथ वेबकास्ट के माध्यम से जुड़े हुए हैं। आप सभी को बताते हुए मुझे बहुत खुशी हो रही है कि आज का यह सेशन, आज का यह लेक्चर हमने वेबकास्ट किया है और हमारे साथ काफ़ी सारे लोग जो कोल इंडियंस हैं आज जुड़े हुए हैं, तो मैं उन सभी का भी स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करती हूँ। साथ ही साथ अंत में मैं प्रेस एंड मीडिया से जो बंधुगण आज हमारे बीच उपस्थित हैं मैं उनका भी स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करती हूँ।
As the diya vanishes darkness and illuminates our soul, let us all stand up and light up the diya. And may I now request GM HRD sir to accompany respectable dignitaries and proceed for lighting of lamp.
शुभं करोति कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योति नमोऽस्तु ते दिव्या दिव्या रे दीपत्कार कानी कुंडलमोतीहार दिव्याला पाहून नमस्कार तिळाचे तेल कापसाची वात दिवा तेवे देवा पाशी उजेड पडे विष्णू पाशी माझा नमस्कार सर्व देव देवतांपाशी ये ग लक्ष्मी बैस ग बाजे माझं घर तुला साजे घरातली इडापिडा बाहेर जाऊ दे बाहेरची लक्ष्मी घरात येऊ दे घरच्या सर्वांना उदंड आयुष्य सुख समाधान शांती लाभू दे.
हम है कोल इंडिया है हम. These words echo in the heart of every coal Indian. Now I request each one of us in this auditorium to please stand up for our coal geet.
विशाल कंधे हमारे हाथ पराग हमारे हम हैं आग हम हैं बिजली हम हैं शक्ति की खान हम हैं कोल इंडिया हम अंधेरे से खोद लाते हम उजाले खुशियों के तोड़ जुटाते हम ईंधन लाखों के हम हैं कोल इंडिया हम कदम मिले चले ताल मिलाकर साथ पकड़ कर बाहें हम लाए काला हीरा हमसे उज्जवल देश की राहें हम हैं बिजली हम एकता की खान हम हैं कोल इंडिया हम.
Thank you. Please be seated. As now we have officially commenced the program and set the stage for the valuable insights we are about to gain, I would like to invite our Director HR, Shri Harshnath Mishra sir, to the podium for a welcome address to all the assembled guests at this August gathering. Sir.
A very good afternoon to all of you. Johar, Namaskar. My heart filled with immense pride and gratitude to stand before you today as we commemorate the truly momentous occasion of the 50th year of our Coal India. As part of Golden Jubilee celebrations of Coal India Limited, which happens to be CCL Golden Jubilee Year 2, We are honored and privileged to have amongst us Honorable respected General Ved Prakash Malik sir. It is a proud privilege for entire CCL and CIL family to have a legend like General Malik for sharing his experience and thoughts and guiding us with the skills of leadership and teamwork and whatnot. I, Director HR, Central Coalfields Limited, on behalf of Coal India family, welcome General Ved Prakash Malik sir. Welcome, sir. I am also privileged to have head of our family, respected Chairman cum Managing Director, Sri Nilendu Kumar Singh Saab, respected my dear colleague, fellow directors, Sri C.S. Tiwari ji, Sri Shankar Nagachari ji, and in terms of army, our commanders who is holding the fort at the area mining portfolios, my area general managers, our HODs and general managers providing support services at headquarter, CIL से आए हमारे ED श्री OP मिश्रा जी, ED IICM श्रीमती कामाक्षी रमन मैडम, हमारे इस सभागार में उपस्थित सम्मानित आदरणीय महिलाएं, मेरे कोलीग्स, प्रेस मीडिया के हमारे मित्रगण, श्रमिक संगठन के हमारे सहयोगीगण और हमारे सभी साथियों, Coal India is the largest coal producer company in itself, and we are proud of it. Under the Ministry of Coal, Government of India, we are celebrating the Golden Jubilee year with the support of respective stakeholders and allied agencies. That includes the support from all the corners, the state government, the central government, the other stakeholders, all are contributing to the growth of this legendary company. We are committed to increase coal production and enhance supplies to reduce the imports of coal and contributing towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. Sir, this indeed a challenge which we are the family of CCL and CIL are happy to embrace. The core of our HR philosophy is miners' welfare. Our people, our greatest asset, and their well-being is the prime effort of HR fraternity and the policies of the Coal India company. The safety and dignity will always be the paramount importance. When we say our people, it goes without saying that includes all the contractor laborers, our employees, their dependents, and other stakeholders who are directly or indirectly contributing to the growth of the company, as well as who are dependent on the economy generated by the Coal India company. Millions of people are contributing directly or indirectly. However, our commitment to recognize and reward the hard work of every individual who contributes to our success and in turn contributes to national growth with fairness, equity, and fostering an environment where every hand that toils is valued. We really mean it. Recently, going a step forward, the company has decided to have a uniform for each and every individual of the company, right from the bottom to top, the same uniform will be worn by everyone, every individual of the company. The mascot, Angara, which has been unveiled, is inspired by the, of course, Royal Tiger of Bengal, and that captures the essence of our workforce. Angara embodies the strength and resilience of our coal miners, highlighting their courage and dedication. Each one of you, whether working underground in challenging conditions, managing operations, or supporting from offices, embodies the spirit of Angara. Your grit, your determination, and your unwavering commitment have been the bedrock of CIL's success over the 5 decades. As HR professionals, our role is to ensure that our workforce is not just ready, but eager to embrace these changes. We are committed for a culture of continuous learning, innovation, and adaptability, ensuring that our skills and processes evolve with the changing business dynamics. The future of Indian energy is dynamic, and while coal remains central, we are also heavily investing in renewable energy and addressing climate change. We at CIL are spending hundreds of crores on CSR for bringing positive changes in lives of people in our mining areas and less developed areas, from health, education, skills, sports, to balancing of environment, the addressing the challenges of climate change. As we embark on these new journeys, HR will be at the forefront, ensuring we have the right talent, the necessary training, and the supportive environment to succeed in these diverse ventures. Our role in the Viksit Bharat initiative is not just significant, it is foundational. Encompassing these values, CIL has organized a series of talks, as my anchor was telling, and we have invited eminent personalities of Bharat in the form of Golden Lecture series aimed at enriching knowledge and understanding within the company, as well as promoting discussions on relevant topics. We already had the opportunity to hear personalities like Lieutenant General KPS Dhillon, Sri Devdutt Patnaik, and Sri Srikant Bhola. In this series, we are incredibly fortunate to have with us a true leader, a decorated soldier, and a profound strategic thinker, General Ved Prakash Malik ji. General Sir's name is synonymous with courage, leadership, and national service, who successfully led the nation during the surprised Kargil War in 1999 and made Operation Vijay a grand success and brought laurels and pride to our country. As Army Chief, he bore the immense responsibility of planning, coordinating, and overseeing the triumphant execution of Operation Vijay. Beyond his military prowess, General Malik is also an academic author, acclaimed one, with notable works like Kargil, From Surprise to Victory, and India's Military Conflicts and Diplomacy, a Nim Few, an inside view of decision making. His insights are highly valued, and we are fortunate to have him here. We are drawing inspiration from remarkable journey from Operation Vijay to latest Operation Sindoor. We are looking forward for your wisdom, golden words, sir. I'm sure you all are as eager to hear from him as I am. So, not coming between you for much of time, let us hear from the legendary personality of Bharat. And I will request all of you to take home the aspects of his experience and continue to work together with the same courage and dedication to illuminate India's future. Jai Hind, Jai Coal India. Thank you very much.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर, आपने इस उद्बोधन से हम सभी को अनुग्रहित किया है। वसुधा का नेता कौन हुआ? वसुधा का नेता कौन हुआ? भूखंड विजेता कौन हुआ? अतुलित यश क्रेता कौन हुआ? नवधर्म प्रणेता कौन हुआ? बताएंगे? बिल्कुल सही, जिसने न कभी आराम किया और विघ्नों में रहकर काम किया, वसुधा का नेता वही होता है। और एक ऐसे ही सबल व्यक्तित्व वाले एक हमारे समक्ष मौजूद हैं, जिनको सुनने के लिए हमारी सारी ऑडियंस बहुत ही ईगरली वेट कर रही है। तो मैं निवेदन करूंगी आप सभी की तालियों के गड़गड़ाहट के बीच जनरल वीपी मलिक से कि वे स्टेज पर आकर इस सभा को संबोधित करें। हम सभी उनके बारे में काफ़ी देर से सुन रहे हैं। इन्होंने हमेशा अपने देश की रक्षा को, राष्ट्र की रक्षा को सर्वोपरि रखा। ये लेखक भी हैं, ये देश की रक्षा भी करते हैं, इन्हें बहुत सारे सम्मान मिले हैं। आइए हम उनके मुँह से सुनते हैं।
Namaskar, Jai Hind. Mr. N.K. Singh, CMD, Central Coal, CCL, Mr. Mishra, आपके senior colleagues और बाकी साथियों. First of all, I must thank you all for inviting me on this momentous occasion. You are celebrating the Golden Jubilee of the establishment of CIL. It's a great event, it's a great opportunity, and also I must say the remarkable success that you have achieved in the last 50 years. It makes every one of us in India proud. I was going through the website of CIL, and I saw the remarkable journey that you people have done over the last 50 years, and also your ambition for the next few years. You want to reach a coal production of 1 billion metric tons in the next 2 years, I believe. And other successes that I have noted today in the morning also when I was visiting some of your institutions. There is a lot of commonality between an organization like CIL and in the Indian Army. And somebody did ask me this question, that what do we do as civilians when there is a war on? And I told him, I said, today everybody is a soldier, whether you are wearing civil clothes or uniform, it doesn't matter. Everybody has to contribute that. And I'm sure it will continue like that, because that is the spirit that we are all trying to build in India, that everybody has a role to take India forward, to make sure that it is, its integrity is never violated, and it continues to progress and develop for the good of Indians as well as for the good of world. Now, I was thinking that both CIL as well as the Indian Army, that commonality part of it, the best part of that is that both organizations, to me, appear to be the most dependable organization in the country. And I'm using the word dependable with a lot of pride and with a lot of consciousness also, because you people have never failed in making money for the government and looking after your employees. And the Indian Army also has become most dependable because we don't like to lose a war, never. So my talk today is going to be, because I have spent so much of time in the army, is going to say a few words about how we train our people, how we make our organization dependable. It's on that, basically. And you will find some commonalities. You know, there is always a good thing to learn from each other. And perhaps you will get something from how we do or how we function both during peace and war. And so the first part of my talk is on that. And in that, I believe that it's the ethics and ethos. There's a lot of noise coming. Can I? It is the ethics and ethos of an organization which makes it stronger and which makes it dependable, most dependable, as I said, this thing. So I'm going to talk to you in the first part only on that part, ethics and ethos of our organization, the army, how we do it. And I'm sure there'll be certain things that you will be able to imbibe. And then we can have later on question answers also. In the second part, because everybody would be interested in that, I'm going to take you through very briefly the journey from Operation Vijay to Operation Sindoor. I'm sure many of you would have some questions on that also. But then both these, one was Kargil War and the other one is a short war that we fought. And it is still continuing. We have only taken a pause in that. So I'm sure there will be many questions, many queries on that. So at the end of that, we will have that question answer session. Let me start with the first. I believe that today what has become important for us, both whether we are fighting a war or we are having a business, it doesn't matter whether it is a PSU or a non-PSU, the private companies. But the core of that is both the human resource and technology. Technology was not as important earlier, but today it has become important. And it's moving very fast. But technology remains a facilitator. Ultimately, it is the human resource, the mind that we have. So that human capital is the biggest asset that we have got. In the army, we have always used the word, you keep the slide on, please, one by one. In fact, I will keep moving that. It is always the man behind the gun which matters. And today, of course, we are talking of not only men, but also women. It is the man and the women behind the gun which matters. And that continues today. And there is a quote from Sun Tzu's book, The Art of War. Incidentally, that book, Art of War, is not only for the soldiers or strategists, but it is also for the, why are we moving that? Just leave those slides. I will move them. Whoever is, I will move them when it is required, okay? So his book is The Art of War, which is also being taught in almost all business schools in USA. So whatever he has written in that book, so I've got a few quotes from that. But this one, if you have good human capital, victory and awards will follow. It is from that book, The Art of War. And then when we are talking about the human resource, of course, in the human resource, the most important aspect is the leadership. Now, when I talk about leaders, I'm not talking about the Prime Minister or the Army Chief or others and all. My belief has firmly been always, anyone who has got even 2, 3 or 4 people under him, he is a leader or she is a leader. And the leadership therefore starts not when you become senior, it must start from the time anyone joins a particular organization, because sooner or later you will have. When I joined the army, when I got my commission, we had about 35 men under my command. And later on, when I became the chief, we had about 1.2 million people also under command. But then the basics that I understood are that learned in NDA, IMA, and when I became a lieutenant. Those have not changed with me. Those have remained. So I'm just giving you 5 of those takes on leadership. First is whether you are commanding 5 people or you are commanding 1.2 million people. The basics don't change. They remain the same. The second part is a bit of a surprise for, leadership is 30% knowledge or skills. It is 70% how you deal with people. That is where human resource comes very important. How you deal with people, because when you are dealing with people, you are making them do what you have in your mind, the goal. The goal is in your mind. You have thought of that particular goal. Now you have to convince everybody that, look, we all have to achieve that goal. So that 30%, and incidentally, this is not just because I thought one day 30-70. It's based on research carried out in Stanford University many years ago. So dealing with people, whether they are senior, junior, whoever, contemporaries, that is important. Third, there are books written on leadership, and you will find lots of traits, honesty, integrity, discipline, all kinds of traits are there, and you can keep building on those traits. But finally, what I believe is important for a leader is his character or her character, because that becomes transparent to the employees sooner or later. And if there is a flaw in your character, then I'm afraid people will not follow you willingly. In the army, they will not follow the leader or face the bullets when the leader wants them to do that. And I'll talk about this part later on. I had a confrontation with the Prime Minister in my time. One day I had mentioned to the press that we are short of equipment. But then when the war was on, I said that we shall fight with whatever we have. Now people who are responsible, they objected to that, and they spoke to the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister, while walking, Mr. Vajpayee Bihari was a very soft person, soft-spoken person. He spoke much less. He heard more people. So he asked me, he said, General Sahab, aapne us din bola tha, we shall fight with whatever we have. I said, yes. He says, वो उचित था आपके लिए कहना. तो I understood. I said, हाँ, मैं समझता हूँ कि वो सही बात थी, सच था. तो आपको तो मालूम है, मैं कई बार आपसे बात कर चुका हूँ हमारे हथियारों के बारे में, एमुनिशन के बारे में. तो then I told him, I said, sir, मैं नेता नहीं हूँ. I don't indulge in politics. But I am a straightforward soldier. और अगर मैं सच नहीं बोलूं तो मेरे जो आदमी मेरे नीचे काम करते हैं तो वो मेरे बारे में क्या सोचेंगे. So I have to speak the truth. I don't indulge in double speak like many netas do that. And So what I said was right, and you do not want me to indulge in doublespeak, because my followers, my client, my army, otherwise will start suspecting me and they will not obey my orders. So don't expect me to indulge in doublespeak. Now that is what I meant. Sound character is one of the things that you need to. Leadership stands for hope and change also. And that must be understood. Leaders accept challenges, and challenges produce leaders. There is a relationship with that. Some people whom we did not know, I remember Yogendra Yadav, he got Paramveer Chakra. He was just about 19 years old that time. And you know, he had just joined the army, usko zyada pata bhi nahi tha. But then during that attack, the capture of Tiger Hill, he suddenly emerged as a big leader. And he got Paramveer Chakra. So sometimes you do not know the other person, but he turns out to be a good leader. And he continues to be a good leader even after retirement. And similarly, the leaders never fail to accept challenge. They will always say, yes, we'll do it that. And of course, and the last and the most important aspect is, as I said, 5, this is the 5th one. I don't believe that leaders are born. You can be in any family. You may be born, but it doesn't make you leader straight away. You have to work hard. You have to work hard. You have to believe in yourself. If you are lucky, you will also get many opportunities. But whatever opportunities you get, you have to make use of that, and that experience in every opportunity. So these are my 5 takes as far as leadership is concerned, and they should be applicable, I believe, to everyone, every youngster who joins your organization till the end, because leadership never stops. The training on leadership never stops. Now we have that unique role when we become leader and responsibility also to shape the ethical culture and ethos of our organization. This becomes our responsibility, again, at whatever level. Middle level, senior level, it is even more. We have that responsibility. In the army, we divide people, I think in every organization we do that, junior level, middle level, and senior level. Now, basics of leadership, as I said, they don't change, but there are certain nuances which are required at the junior, middle level, and the senior level. Those I have listed here. And you will notice that ethics and character building, it remains important all along, right from the beginning to the end. So I'm not going to read out the whole thing, but you will find that all these aspects that I have mentioned at junior level, middle level, and senior level, they become important at the level in which you are. Okay. Is that all right? Okay. So at the senior level, of course, national security, operational art, geopolitics, strategy, vision, intuition. Intuition is important at that time. And resilience is important. All these aspects at the senior level, they become important. But at the junior level, look at that. Physical fitness, team spirit, weapons training, basic tactical knowledge. You have in your own organization something like that. So these are all important aspects. And ethical behavior is expected to become stronger with growth in leadership. Somebody asked me a question today in the morning when I was in your institution. And I said that, look, if a junior makes a mistake, I will tell him, advise him, don't do it again. Middle level, I might punish him slightly, but again expect him to mend himself or herself. But when it comes to senior level, I won't tolerate that. For me, I'm talking of ethics. Aapki chutti. That is what I have believed in. Some people did go wrong even when I was army chief, and they were very senior people, but I thought they had no place in my organization. So that is the aspect. Now, I'm not going to read out some of the principles, the important principles that I have mentioned here. but one or two anecdotes I want to mention here. First, of course, discipline is basically, it's not just that salute that we give, it is only a respect to the senior. And the other thing is it is compliances. Now, compliances become very important in all organizations today. In the corporate people, they have to show compliances to SEBI. In your case, the ministries and all, they expect you to follow the rules that are laid down for you. And the other important aspect is discipline teaches us to function systematically. You don't waste any energy looking around, thinking, because if you are disciplined in a particular way, सवेरे से उठ के क्या आपने काम किस तरतीब से काम करना है, that becomes important. So that is also part of honesty. I do not have to say that any more about it, but I can also tell you that when I became chief, the army chief, the defense minister at that time was Mulayam Singh. और एक दो बार उनके साथ में मेरी झड़प हुई. You understand what is jhadap, when he wanted me to do a particular thing and I told him professionally it's not correct. So he says, अच्छा हम देख लेंगे, you know how netas speak. So I said, देखा जाएगा. But I did become a chief even then. And you'll be surprised that after some time, he gave me so much of respect. Even when his son got married, there was nobody else that he called from the armed forces except me. And he continued to give me full respect. There was one incident that took place in Pahalgam those days. And he took me aside. He said, General Saab, ये बाकी जितने भी briefing कर रहे हैं वो तो ठीक है. आप मुझे बताइए कि वो सही है या गलत है. आप जो कहेंगे मैं मानता हूँ. So if you are honest and the other people also understand that you are honest, they will not question you. In fact, they will give you more respect. Integrity, again, I gave you that incident, in the interview I said we shall fight with whatever we have. I mean, that was my integrity, and the people had respected me for what I said at that time to the media. Fairness and diversity, of course, has become very important. In fact, I was objecting to your director that why do you have separate courses for women nowadays? They should all be working together with the men, because you're all involved in, common goals. So, team spirit. Now, team spirit, I find something common between you and the army, is that the team spirit not only extends to the employees, it extends to the families also. Families help you to get together closer. The bonding is firm. So I was so glad to hear that, you people are also looking after the families, and the families have a role to play. And it will always, this is where I think our private sector is lacking. They do not understand the value of the families in that organization, because the families really support the men or women, whoever is there. That's an important aspect. Empathy, of course, everybody has to have that empathy, whoever is the leader. One of the most important duty of ours during a war is to visit the soldiers who have either died or who are wounded. During Kargil War or even after that, I visited everyone's family, all the officers. I couldn't go to Jawan's houses. My wife did at many places. But I visited every officer's family in their hometown, wherever they were. And similarly, I must tell you that Field Marshal Manekshaw, who had retired many years before, he came to Delhi, asked me, and he said, I want to visit the hospital and meet the wounded soldier. So empathy is an important aspect of leadership. I come to ethos now. Now, ethos is important. While ethics can be more at the individual level, ethos is more at the organizational level, and you build the spirit of your organization. This one, what I have written, the safety, honor, and welfare of your country come first, always and every time. Honor, welfare, and comfort of the men you command come next. Your own ease, comfort, and safety comes last, always and every time. Now, this is what we were taught when I was in Indian Military Academy. And when I became chief, I had this written on a board in front of my table. This is the ethos of the Indian Army. A person will not think about his family when he is fighting a war. He is only focused on what he has to do for the country. I'm giving you an example. Somebody asked me कि जब आप लड़ाई में जाते हो तो आप family के बारे में सोचते हो. It's not that we don't think at all, but at that time our focus is on the job that we have, the duty, the commitment that we have at that time. So practicing ethics and values in all levels of corporate is necessary to sustain trust and loyalty, both in peace and war. Now, somebody did mention, the lady who was here, she mentioned about Naam Namak Nishan. This is an important part of ethos that we have in the armed forces. When we talk about Naam, it is the honor and the pride in your organization. A regimental spirit, somebody who's coming from a particular Naga regiment or a Bihar regiment or a Punjab regiment and all, for him, that Naam that he is from that particular organization is the most important thing. He doesn't want to let down that particular Naam. I'm sure in your organization also, you have to create that kind of Naam. CIL, CCL, whatever it is the most important thing for you to. You cannot ever forget that when it comes to your duty or commitment, whatever you're doing. Similarly, namak, I mean, that's easy. अगर आपने किसी का नमक खाया है तो आप उसको disloyal कभी भी नहीं बन सकते हो. If you have, these days I don't like people who shift from one job to the other job. And I always keep telling them, I say, what's wrong? तुमने नमक नहीं खाया उस कंपनी का कि आप फटाफट 500 रुपया कोई ज़्यादा देता है तो आप भाग जाते हो उधर. And but that is what we have in the army. And Namak is देश का नमक खाया है तो उसके साथ में. And Nishan is of course the flag. And that becomes important, whether it is, first of course comes the national flag, and then you can have your own flag for your organizations. We have it for the Army, Navy and Air Force. We also have regimental flags. But then it becomes important. So that is what we say, Naam, Namak and Nishan, which is the important, I would say one of the most important ethos that we have. Then there are all regiments that have their own regimental ethos also. As I have written, artillery has Sarvatra Izzat or Iqbal, everywhere with honor and glory. You will find parachute, they say Shatrujit. You have Naga regiment, they say Prakarmo Vijayata. You have Madras regiment, Dharmasya Rakshaka. So these are also part of ethos that we build in the regiment, in our organization. And it becomes important. I'm sure CCL can think of something like that to make them think like that. Now, and one aspect that I want to mention here is, we, for whatever action that we have, the work or the job that we have been given, there are two aspects. One is the planning part and the other is the execution part. I am a great believer that planning you can tweak which may be required. But execution is more important. And that is why I said the test of a policy is not how it begins, but how it ends. And therefore, just pushing an order in writing or on speaking even, that is not good enough. You have to monitor how it is being executed. Execution becomes important. And that is the ethos that you have to create in your organization. The first order that has come, by and large, people will follow it. But if there is a requirement, you can also tweak it a bit here and there. What you have to see is, and that tweak will be necessary only if you are monitoring whatever the execution part is. That becomes important. During Kargil War, I visited Kargil once in every 6 days. And mind you, I had no role to play there. My role was in Delhi. You know, I was not firing a bullet. In fact, nobody would want me to go anywhere near where the bullets were. That is the kind of, the chief doesn't go anywhere. And the planning that is done at a battalion level, brigade level, and brigade division level, all that I generally left to people. They did on their job. Once in a while, I might even ask them, "Acha, ye kar rahe ho to?" Some advice. Or more important was, if you need anything, can I help you there? Otherwise, I had no role to play in Kargil War. My role was in Delhi, talking to the politicians, working on our requirement for the war, as well as international relations mein kya kiya. So please remember this, that action is more important than planning. Now I go to the second part, Op Vijay to Op Sindoor. It was a surprise, indeed. And it came as a surprise because with just 2 months earlier, 2.5 months earlier, our Prime Minister of Pakistan and India, Prime Ministers both had signed a Lahore Declaration in which they had written and signed that we shall not interfere in each other's internal affairs and we shall solve all our problems through talks. And yet, you know how suddenly things. Now this is a big lesson for all of us. And particularly in the current geopolitical environment, you do not know tomorrow what may happen. So you have to be prepared and you have to keep working on the contingency planning. Suppose this A thing happen, B things happen, how do we face it? So I think the more important job for a leader as you grow up is to work for the contingencies in case they crop up. Everything is fine. It doesn't mean that you can now sleep and you can go to. That is not. Your primary job is, okay, you're doing fine, but what next? Am I prepared for the next thing that can happen? And that is the most important job for an army officer when he is growing up. You would have seen that when, I'll come to Sindoor later on, but you have to be prepared for that. You know, you have to keep talking to people, you have to warn the people, you have to make sure that your equipment is available for that particular contingency, all that. Now, this is a map of Jammu and Kashmir. I hope I'm not coming in the way of people. Oh, this is the map of Jammu and Kashmir, and you can see Srinagar, Baramulla, and the other side, on the left side, is the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. And I have drawn this, POK stands for Pakistan occupied. Line of control is about 740 kilometers. The AGPL is in the area of Siachen, actual ground position line, because we occupied Siachen in 1984. And that is why I have put it in a slightly different, earlier this area was unoccupied, neither India nor Pakistan were occupying. But when we realized that these people are up to some mischief, so we occupied it in April 1984, and that is AGPL. Well, this not-so gentleman, he was the one who took that initiative, and he started the red arrow shows where they hit us and they occupied certain area, which was over a frontage of about 160 kilometers or so. Part of Dras, Kargil, and Siachen area also. Incidentally, this chap had been commanding a brigade in Siachen, and he had been mauled rather badly during some of our actions that took place. So उसके दिमाग में ये हमेशा घूम रहा था कि किसी तरीके से कुछ करना है. But again, here also he got mauled. Now, these are some real photographs of the place where we fought during that war. And you will see this is a Siachen glacier. These are some of the crevasses you find in April, May, June, May. Suddenly, you know, one day you will go there and this crevasse was not there, but suddenly it appears. You have to be prepared for these kind of contingencies when you are moving around. And we never do anything alone. We go prepared and we always work together with each other. And this is where camaraderie comes, you know, dependent on each other, literally. You will be surprised, more people get killed because they're trying to save others. You know, that organizational spirit is there, that मैं अगरचे मर जाऊं कोई बात नहीं पर मेरी platoon को कुछ नहीं होना चाहिए. No, that is the spirit that people have. These are the initial helipads that we have, all improvised helipads that we used to have. Incidentally, a helicopter in these areas only carry 1/4 of the load because of the rarefied atmosphere, you know, the oxygen being less. So the load that they carry is much less. This is again taken during that war picture only, 14th May 1999. This is the Batalik sector. There was a lot of snow even then in the month of May also. And this is a picture taken from a helicopter, and you'll see all that area is covered with snow. Now you can't really make out whether you are on Indian territory or on the other side. So just for your information, I have drawn a line on this particular photograph. Something like that. So our helicopters sometime by mistake did go on the other side, and sometimes, you know, then they realized and they would come back because we had been given orders not to go on the other side. This is that famous Tiger Hill. And Mr. N.K. Singh, I would recommend, please send people to Dras and Kargil to see the actual ground, you know, where people fought for the country. It's a great opportunity that people get to see the area where our boys and men and women both, they fought in that area. And it's amazing. I don't think there is any battlefield that I have come across anywhere in the world जो वहाँ पर हमने हमारी है. And now, of course, it's become easier for us to go there also. These are some photographs of the Batalik sector and nearby Kaksar sector ki hai ye. Now there were challenges, and this is an important lesson for all of us. Challenges will be there, whether you are starting something new or you need to do something immediately which you have not thought of. And here the challenges were many that we had. And the terrain itself was a big challenge because you can't walk freely in that area when you are going over. You know, we have 3 stages of acclimatization, starting with 12,000, then 15,000, and then 19,000. You have to acclimatize yourself before you can operate freely. That becomes important for all of us. Intelligence failure, no intelligence information at all to us that Pakistan is preparing something like that. And even the Prime Minister, till about 17th of June, while I was trying to convince him, that, look, we are fighting the Pakistan army, he would not, you know, he would still have some doubt because he had signed Lahore Declaration. And I remember on the 16th or 17th of June, he sent one of his emissaries to meet Nawaz Sharif on the other side, कि ये क्या हो रहा है? No, that was the kind of a picture that we had. And there was also surveillance failure because of the snow that had been there, and the, you know, during the winter, it is so covered you can't walk properly. So surveillance also, and those days we did not have any equipment that we have today which are available. I mean, there were no drones at all. In fact, there were no cell phones at all. And the equipment, the clothing that we had was not as good as we have today. Now, if you are fighting jihadis, that's what they try to portray. कि ये जिहादी हैं, उसमें से कुछ हमारे भी होंगे. Our rules of engagement are different. But when you are quite clear that you are fighting the army on the other side, then your rules of engagement become different. You can use all weapons. But if you are fighting jihadis, practically we have not been using our heavier weapons all along. क्योंकि उसमें पता नहीं कि कुछ लोग अपने हैं या वो पाकिस्तानी हैं, civilians हैं, because they are not wearing uniform. So we have different rules. We have never used artillery. We have never used air force against the terrorists. And till we are sure that, yes, these are all the army people. I have mentioned to you about surveillance failure and not having equipment that is available today. There were shortages in weapons, ammunition, and equipment. Those days we were having, because the money was not there, so we were living on 60 to 70% of our holdings. We did not have, and I had complained about it, but वो पैसे नहीं थे. और खासकर the other problem that we were facing is that a year earlier we had carried out nuclear tests, and because we had carried out nuclear tests, so we had become a rogue nation. Nobody was prepared to give us the weapons and equipment. बाहर से आते थे, and those days there was no 70 to 80% equipment and weapons and equipment came from abroad. And then, as I said, nuclear weapons also had a problem. And incidentally, it was during that, in the month of June, sometime next year, I was supposed to go and attend my daughter's wedding in USA. We had planned it. She was in USA for some time. But because of these sanctions, I couldn't go. So I only sent my wife to go and attend that wedding. So ये भी होता है वहाँ पर जो international relations में. Now, the Cabinet Committee on Security gave us this mandate. India will take all measures, including military, to ensure that intruded area is vacated. And then they tied our hands, at least one hand behind my back, by saying that you will not cross the line of control. And because we were not very certain who are those people, jihadis hain ya Pakistan army ke hain, so we had to. But subsequently, I will tell you in the next slide, there was some understanding between me and the Prime Minister which came. So based on this is what happens. The CCS under the Prime Minister gives a mandate, you can say political goal to the armed forces. And then the armed forces from that goal, they draw their own goals to be able to achieve the political goal. The final thing as far as the armed forces is concerned, when we say victory, defeat and all, it is not at the level of the military. It is, have you achieved the political goal or not? Whatever the political leadership wants it, have you achieved that or not? That becomes important. So we prepared our joint military strategy, Army, Navy and Air Force, and I happened to be the Army chief as well as the senior most amongst the three chiefs that we were there. And so we had to prepare for both defensive as well as offensive contingencies because we were not certain that kal kya karenge. They are saying jihadis, but they don't look to be jihadis. That was the first concern. So it was not only 160, I had to worry about the entire over 3,000 kilometer border from Kutch right up to Siachen. And similarly, I have to worry about the northern border also. But here we were not only on the defensive, we had to prepare our offensive plan in case it is required. Strategic, when we were thinking of what to do to be able to defeat Pakistan in that, the first thing that comes at our level that was that how to create an imbalance on the other side. And I'll talk about this in actual battle, what we did, both in Op Vijay as well as in Op Sindoor. But what you want to create in the enemy's mind is that imbalance ke wo hil gaya hai pura. You have to shake the roots of that on the other side, whatever they are thinking or whatever they are trying to aim. That is the most important thing as far as preparing yourself with the strategy is concerned. And that time, as I said, because I had to prepare, if necessary, be prepared to escalate the situation and launch forces across the border of our LOC. Now, this was very interesting. The Prime Minister दो बार जाके बाहर पब्लिक स्टेटमेंट में दिया, बोला कि मैंने आर्म फोर्सेस को बोला है कि वो लोग इंटरनेशनल बॉर्डर नहीं क्रॉस करेंगे और एलओसी भी नहीं क्रॉस करेंगे, पर वो यहाँ से उनको हटा देंगे. So when he spoke second time, and I remember he was in Chennai, he came back, and I met him in the corridor. I said, sir, आप दोबारा मत बोलो ये बात. So as I said, he was a great listener, बात नहीं करते थे, तो he looked at me, said, क्यों, क्या बात है? Brijesh Mishra was also walking with us. He was the NSA. So I told him, I said that, look, if we cannot undo what has happened in Kargil, Dras sector, then I have no alternative except to cross the line of control or international border. If that situation comes up, I'll come and ask you, okay, I want to cross the border or LOC. फिर आपका क्या जवाब होगा? I put it flatly like that. So he kept quiet, he didn't say anything. In the evening, Brijesh Mishra was sent on a TV channel, and on that evening he said, not crossing the line of control holds good today, we don't know about tomorrow. So that was, you know, you have to be forthright. We are talking of lives of people, we are not talking of profit and loss here. So he was, he listened and he did that. Now this was our strategy basically. This is what they did. This was our immediate reaction. And finally, to shake them, as I said, to create imbalance on the other side, this is what we did. There were almost about 440 military special trains from all over India, which took troops and their equipment to the western border, without losing sight of what is happening on the northern borders around the on Bangladesh. But you know, central India and all these places, Ranchi से भी लोग गए हों उस वक्त जहाँ जो division था इस वक्त. So all of them, and they all moved, the trains moved at night. Pakistan did not get to know how we have done it. But once they were there in that position, I told them, now you are free to show them where we are. And that shook the leadership. And that is what made first Nawaz Sharif to run to PG, as he has done this time, also his brother has done, to ask for help from Chinese. And Chinese did not give him help. And then he ran to USA and asked for a meeting on 4th of July. 4th of July happens to be the US Independence Day. And with great reluctance, President Clinton took that meeting. So that is what really helped them. And mind you, it was not only the army action. You will notice we had also, the Navy had taken its majority of ships from Bay of Bengal, they had taken them to Arabian Sea. And we were trailing their oil ships, जो दुबई से कराची में आ रहे थे. We would, you know, frighten them, not only on the ships, but also with our Air Force in that area. So everybody was involved, Army, Navy, and Air Force, and we did that. Now I come to some important aspects of the war and peace both, and they are applicable, I believe. You know, we should never ever neglect the soldiers who are fighting. Our focus has to be on that, because he is the one who will give you the victory or defeat. And while for us it is frontline soldiers, but for you it is not only the production, but the way you are able to sell your goods to the various organizations, whether it is NTPC or the others who are dependent on your coal, how you are able to sell that. That is where you get your revenue. And that is what makes your profits both before tax and after tax. So that don't ever neglect those people who are doing this job. You know, not only those who are producing it, but also those who are able to sell it to the NTPC, whatever term that you have got. Never hesitate to visit where the action is. This is important. You can't be giving orders and hoping everything is fine in your air-conditioned offices. Because the soldier in the field, he doesn't bother about whether you are sitting. And also, these days, you know, we are dependent more and more on virtual interactions. Now, virtual interaction may you cannot be seen, you cannot be. People at the lower level want to see you in face to face, and they also want to touch you, shake hand with you. Now that you can't do it virtually, you can't do it online. So while online is a facilitator, you can have your conferences virtually, but once in a while you must go to. I am an independent director with one company now. Earlier I was on many more, but now also I continue to be on one. And I like to attend all the audit committee as well as the board meetings when they are together. Other small committee meetings I may attend online, but when we are talking about, the substance, the quarterly results and all that, I like to go and meet people. And I want people to see me also, all the employees, all their directors, all their subordinates also. You go and, so that they know that yes, you are responsible for certain things that the company is doing. Okay, so that was Kargil War. I won't go more into that. I now come to what we had after Kargil War. After Kargil War, Pakistan has not dared to start a war with us, a conventional war, what we call it, in which you use heavy weapons, air force and things of that nature. They have not done it, but they have continued to carry out with the strategy that we have had of 1,000 cuts, as they call it, of proxy war, making use of these terrorists, unko support dena, unko hathiyar dena, unko facilitate karna to cross the line of control, our international border, etc. Because without the government support, they can't indulge in these things. So that is why I always say that the terrorists are employees of the ISI, and ISI is an employee, a part of the Pakistan Army. So don't separate them. They're all part of the same organization. Now, there was a change in policy. Till Kargil War also, or even afterwards, when Prakram took place, we were following a policy of strategic restraint. We do not want to start a war. So we would like to hit the terrorists in our own country and, try and all the safety measures and the defensive measures. But the change came in 2016. 14 May, Prime Minister Narendra Modi took over, and when the Pakistanis they hit a Uri army camp, and they killed almost about 19, I think, people from our camp, 19 or 20. That is the first time he said, go and hit them there. And we had this surgical strike. It was not a very deep strike, but it was a shallow strike. So that was a change that, okay, we will come after you even in your own territory. That was a big policy change that we took place. The second incident, when it took place in 2019, when they hit our convoy carrying CRPF and other personnel in near Srinagar at Pulwama, and 46 people got killed. Now, the person was from Kashmir, but he had been trained and he had been guided by the Pakistani Lashkar-e-Taiba only at that time. Sorry, Lashkar-e-Taiba was Jaish-e-Mohammed, this other major outfit. So they were the ones who, and then we took the next step. This time the Air Force went much deeper into their territory and we hit Balakot. Now, Balakot is it is part of their northwest frontier, closer to Indus River on the other side, in that area. So we went and hit them and came back. That was a big message, don't try and do this thing again. And this time, and yet despite all these things, they have continued to do this. Pathankot mein incident kiya, Gurdaspur mein incident kiya, chote mote chalte rahe baad mein bhi. But this time what they did was bad, really bad. And I think it hit everybody in our country, men, women, wherever they were. And but why did they do that? Firstly, they saw that Kashmir was now, we were having peace and development in Kashmir. They wanted to disturb that. So that was one of their aims. They did it in Pahalgam. Second was asking people कि तुम हिंदू है या मुसलमान है. They wanted to create that divide between our communities. They earlier tried it between Hindus and Sikhs, and of course they have always been trying between Hindus and Muslims. So this time they showed it by asking people, and then somebody told, go and tell your Prime Minister. Now that kind of a thing. Then they have their own internal dynamics. The present chief, who's now become, who's made himself a field marshal, Asim Munir, this chap has been facing trouble in Balochistan as well as in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa on the western side. You know, Pashtuns and all that. The popularity of the army has suffered also because they have sidelined Imran Khan, very popular figure even today, and they have put him in jail. So the army has been on a back foot, and the army thought, Pakistan army thought that by indulging in a thing like this, we will be able to distract attention of the people and perhaps become more popular. That was the internal dynamics in Pakistan. So I'm just listing out some of the reasons why they did that. And so, you know, this time we decided that, okay, we wanted to have a stronger deterrent strategy. Dobara mat karna. That is the lesson that we wanted to send, a message that we wanted to send. And what we did this time, it was a whole of the nation. We started with diplomatic actions. We also held the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance, which is a big, say, a message that has gone to them. And then on the 7th of May, we hit 9 of their known terrorist camps, including the mother of these 2 organizations, one in Bhavalpur of the Jaish and the other in Murid Ke, which is just 45 kilometers away from Lahore. And we hit them on the 7th. And these are 2 major, and the 7 others, that's what we did this time. And these are basically, we did not have to go inside their territory. You know, nowadays you have the weapons, you fly inside your own territory along the border, and you can fire a missile to go on the other side and hit a target. And hit a target very, very precisely. Now these are new technologies that have available to us. And that's what we did. And similarly on the sea also, again the same thing. We tried, we did not block Karachi Harbour. Some newspapers and channels mentioned that. That did not happen. But they could see us. Okay, you look outside there. We have the EEZ, you know, economic zone, jo hota hai, 20 kilometers away from the coastline. So our ships were in that area, controlling the movement and all. And then, of course, when they retaliated after our action on the 7th, they retaliated on 7th as well as on the 8th and as well as on the 10th by hitting our military targets and civilian targets. You know what happened? All the drones, we call it swarming tactics. Like wo Madhumakhi ki tarah unhone, they left almost about 400 to 500 drones into our territory. But then we were prepared now. So we did not allow any of those drones to damage our equipment or our sites. And great credit to our air defense organization of the Air Force as well as of the Army that no damage was done. But then since they had now hit us, so we hit them back. And that was a solid hit this time. And we hit 11 of their targets, which were most important airfields. And there were 2 of them were radar equipment, jahan se unko guidance milti thi. So that is what happened in those 48 hours, or a little more than that. I'm going to show you a few slides which will give you an indication. The top slide is only to show where all action took place. So those are smaller places and all, but you can see on that side, and what they did to us was all along the border, because the kind of drones that they used, they were not, except for one particular missile, which probably they tried to hit Delhi, and which was intercepted en route. The others were all along the border only, border installations ke upar. But on the other side, we were able to go deeper, and we were able to hit harder on that side. These are just, you will be able to glance from these, what all happened. they struck drone strikes on the 9th and 10th, and they hit some of our bases, which is on the right slide on top. And then we hit back. We were prepared for it. You have to be prepared in strategy, you know, for the next, not only one action, but two actions also. And that's what we hit them hard during that period. I have told you about the Navy. Now you can see Navy was located, our naval ships were located in a manner that we could hit all their prominent targets inside Pakistan. You know, the BrahMos missiles and the other missiles, they have a long range today. So we were in a position to be able to hit them wherever they were. And that these circles indicate the range of various missiles that we have on the ships. Now on the right side, you see the most important surface-to-air missile, S-400, which we purchased from Russia some years ago, despite all the protests done by USA. You know, they literally told us that you will have sanctions and all that, and yet we went ahead and we bought them. And that became the most effective. We call it Sudarshan Chakra. You would have heard that name in the newspapers and all. And that's a missile range of 230 to, now it is being extended to 400 kilometers also. So that means that you can hit a target, a missile or an aircraft coming from the other side, up to the range of 250, 300 kilometers today, but very soon we'll be able to hit it 400 kilometers on the other side. The photograph down below is taken in Amritsar. You know, we had announced that they were trying to hit probably the Golden Temple, and no damage was done. Our air defense guns were, and the equipment was all around Golden Temple and on the border also. And so these are remnants of their missiles and their drones which were shot down by our boys. This is a photograph taken in Amritsar. BrahMos is one of the best missiles that India has produced with the help of Russians. It's a joint venture. And today, it is the fastest missile in the whole world. That makes it undetectable, literally, at the moment. It's a great asset, you know. And it's very difficult. And we are using now BrahMos on land, from aircraft, and from sea. So it's a great asset that we have got today to be able to, and we are also trying to increase the range. The speed is 2.8 Mach. That means 2.8 multiple of the sound, speed of sound. Then the other equipment that we have produced again ourselves is the Akash missile range. Now Akash missiles can hit an aircraft 45 kilometers away from wherever they are located. And it's again very useful weapon, not only aircraft, but all the drones, whatever be the size, etc. And this is what hit their one missile, which was flying from Pakistan to Delhi, and रास्ते में वो सिरसा आती है एक जगह, and that is where it was hit and brought down, their Hatf missile. And the last that radar thing is, again this is produced in India. It is Akash Tir. Now that radar equipment is one which can detect the flying object on the other side and then coordinate activity amongst all the air defense weapons that we have got. You know, that becomes very important. Now Akash Tir has become another very successful radar to be able to detect the incoming missiles or aircraft, etc., and to coordinate activity. From here you get the order, from so and so place fire, तो वो fire करते हैं. And these are some photographs of the damage that was done. Noor Khan is the Rawalpindi Air Base, very close to their headquarters, the GHQ of Pakistan Army. And the others, Jacobabad is slightly inside. But these are their main 3 or 4 bases, air bases, which we hit them to make sure that their fighter aircraft cannot take off from those areas. Now there is what we've been able to show during Op Sindoor so far. Firstly, we have been able to show that India's political will has changed now. No longer restrained. We will hit you and we will hit you hard. And that resolve, you can see it from the Prime Minister's speeches that he's giving all over RR, people who have gone abroad to tell them that, look, we are not going to suffer anymore. This kind of terrorism that is continuing. And then the whole of the nation approach. It's not just the army or navy or air force which is fighting. The whole nation is involved in it. Politically, diplomatically, economically, everything is, that's why I said that everybody is a soldier today. And that's a new thing that has happened for the first time. It was not there earlier. No new defense capabilities, we have been able to, Atmanirbharta, whatever we are producing, it is taking time, but this battle of 48 hours or little more, we have been able to show that yes, there's a reliable weapons. It's an important thing. When people want to buy weapons from you, they want to know कि reliability क्या है. And here we have been able to make it, show it reliability even during the war. So while the Chinese have suffered the other way around, Chinese weapons and equipment has failed. They have not been able to do any damage. Our equipment has been, so that's a great advantage that we have gained. And then now, of course, we have a different organization. We have the CDS, which was not there in my time. I was the chairman, Chiefs of Staff Committee, but CDS ensures that the coordination between the Army, Navy and Air Force is much closer. If you need Air Force, nobody thinks about it. तो वो आर्मी वाला अपना काम करता है, ये वाला अपना. So, you focus on what is needed immediately and you make use of those weapon systems or the capabilities as early as possible. And the new policy that has come about, it's being talked about. It has not come in writing yet to the armed forces, but because the Prime Minister has been speaking, everybody is speaking, it puts a greater burden on us, but it is also sending a message on the other side. A burden is because now we have to be prepared all the time. And when it says zero tolerance, any terror attack on India would be regarded as an act of war and responded accordingly. That means, as far as the armed forces are concerned, they have to be, and the BSF and others, we have to be ready 24/7. One incident anywhere, we are expected to retaliate. No differentiation between terrorists and their sponsors, which is a good thing, because this was not happening. And all the time I was trying to tell them, I said, look, these terrorists are, ये तो बेचने वाले लोग हैं, बिकाऊ हैं लोग. इनको तो आप 5 रुपए दे दो तो वो काम करने के लिए. But the real focus should be on the army, which is employing them. This is a cheap labor available to them. उसको 5 लाख रुपए दे दो, वो जाके कश्मीर में जाके मारेगा भी और मर भी जाएगा. India will no longer tolerate Pakistan's nuclear blackmail. Just yesterday, I wrote an article. It appeared in Indian Express, and I tried to explain to it. There is a great thinking which is, we have to be careful of the nuclear threat that is possible. But we do not have to worry too much about it, because they also know that if they try to make use of any nuclear weapons, we can destroy the whole of Pakistan. That will what will happen. So they know about it, but they would blackmail us. Now we have a policy that we will not make use of nuclear weapons as a first strike. But they do not want to say that. They say that we will use it as a first strike from their side. But we have to keep it in mind. Irrational mind, I mean, बेवकूफ़ आदमी कुछ भी कर सकता है. So we have to keep that in mind on our side. Terror and talks, terror and trade, water and blood, they will not flow together. You've been hearing that. And that's a great message which has been sent to the other side. I'm now going to read out 2 letters which I have always felt highly motivating letters. And these are from the time when I was Army Chief. It is again, human resource. What our human resource is capable of doing. And that's why my greater faith always is on human resource. And I always say that if the armed forces can have such men and women, why can't all other organizations have same commitment from their people? Now, these are showing not just the bravery part, but the commitment part. Now, here is a letter which is written by a major, young major, to his father on 19th June. I will not read out the whole letter, but this is a copy of the letter which is with me, and I have, of course, spoken to the parents also. Dear Papa, hope this letter finds you in the best of health and spirits. Thanks for your letter and card, dated 14 June 99. Now, young major writing to his father, who was in the Air Force, retired, and living in Hyderabad. And the father had sent a good wishes card to the son. So he is responding to that. The other censor has blocked this line. We have a censor during the war period, so they had blocked, but he's talking about his brother's location, which has been blocked there. He says, we are getting ready for our next task. Our unit now has to live up to the higher expectations of the army regiment. You know what, even the chief sent a letter of congratulations to the unit. It was indeed an honor for our unit to have been given such a task. Now they were the ones, his battalion, they captured Tololing, the first major objective. And when that happened, I wrote a personal letter to the commanding officer to convey my shabash to all the men. I have always believed that if you want to enjoy champagne, drink it when it is fresh, don't let it go stale. So if somebody has done a good work, he needs or she needs a pat, don't wait for the, go ahead and go and give it. So I wrote a letter to that, and that's what he's talking of. Hard work and source and sound ethos does have its merit, don't you think? Using the word ethos, imagine. We now have to work harder to preserve the hopes and aspirations of our well-wishers. Don't worry about casualties. It's a professional hazard which is beyond our control. So why worry? At least it's for our good. It's for a good cause. And then he quotes Bhagavad Gita, that very famous shlok, that go ahead and do righteous work. Jo dharmi, dharm ka kaam. Dharm is not religion. Dharm is the righteous work. And in that, if you lose your life, you will go to heaven. But if you win, then you will enjoy the good part of the world where you are living. So that's the shlok that he has mentioned. No, we are not air maintained, but food is good. Yes, the Prime Minister's Kargil was a good motivation. Prime Minister had visited 6 days before this letter he wrote. I had gone with him and we had visited that area. So he's talking about that. He says the Prime Minister's Kargil visit was a good motivation, and then he assesses the Prime Minister. He says, good chap. He just mentioned that. I'm quite a sight now with an unkempt beard and Vaseline all over my face, ugly face, to counter the icy winds. Please tell Mother that combat is an honor of a lifetime, and I would not think of anything less. What better way to serve the nation? I am proud to be in the infantry and especially in the battalion. Take care of your health as well as Mother. Don't worry and lose sleep. Tell a story a day of the Mahabharata to Charu so that your grandchild imbibes good values. Charu was his wife. And she was expecting a first child. And unfortunately, we lost Acharya before this girl was born. We are in touch with each other, I know, but the letter gives you the indication of the spirit that can be built in an organization. It's something that we Indians are capable of. And if the army can have the same kind of people, you have it in your organization. And that spirit can be created in that. There's another letter. This is from a Jawan. You know, those days, like you have your organization amongst the ladies. So we have the Army Wives Welfare Association, which is headed by the chief's wife. It's an ex-officio appointment, as long as the chief is there, so his wife is heading that. And they decided to send sweets to their frontline soldiers. तो वो एयरफोर्स के हवाई जहाज़ों में हमने वो मिठाइयों को डब्बे भेज दिए उधर जवानों को भेजने के लिए. It was there, and they wrote a small letter, उसमें good wishes वगैरह का भेज दिया. So one जवान who got it from there, he doesn't know कहाँ से आया है डब्बा मिठाई का, तो वो मिठाई का डब्बा खोल के he says आदरणीय my dear आवा. He doesn't know what is आवा, but वो डब्बे के ऊपर लिखा हुआ है आवा, तो उसने उसको कर दिया. आपके प्रिय साथियों और सैनिक भाइयों की तरफ से नमस्कार. हम भारत माँ की चुम्बी पर राज़ी खुशी से रहते हुए ईश्वर से आपके सुख रहने की कामनाएं करते हैं. हम यहाँ पर देश की सेवा कर रहे हैं, रक्षा कर रहे हैं. हमें आपकी भेजी हुई आवा की मिठाई मिली और हमारे सैनिक भाइयों ने आवा की मिठाई खाई. मिठाई खाते हुए हमें काफ़ी जोश आता है कि आप इसी प्रकार मिठाई भेजते रहो तो हम लाहौर तो क्या इस्लामाबाद भी पहुंच जाएंगे. This Jawan at that time, I don't know where he is now, but that time he had 6 years service. आप लोग निर्भय होकर रहो. हम आपकी व अपने देश की रक्षा करेंगे जब तक हम लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल क्रॉस नहीं करते. बिकॉज दैट वाज द ऑब्जेक्टिव, यू नो, वी हैड गिवन दैट वन डे यू मे हैव टू क्रॉस द लाइन ऑफ. हम वो करते नहीं. तब तक हम चैन की सांस नहीं ले पाएंगे. हम उनको ऐसी सीख सिखलाएंगे कि उनको सपने में भी याद आएगा कि इंडिया और इंडियन आर्मी क्या चीज़ है. भाइयों व बहनों, तुम खुश रहो. हमारी तरफ से तुमको खुश रहने की हम कामनाएं करते हैं. आपको पत्र मिलता है तो पत्र के में पूरा एड्रेस देना. हमारे से जो भी गलती हुई हो तो छोटे भाई समझकर उसको माफ़ करना. आपका सैनिक. दैट वाज द स्पिरिट. No, I'm only trying to indicate to you that when you have spirit like this, there is no way that you can lose anywhere. And this spirit can be built in every organization. So with that, I'll finish it. And how we do it in the armed forces when we are facing a difficult situation, because there is josh, there is courage, there is commitment. Duty is not just duty. Duty is much more with that commitment. And there is that determination, that resilience is there. Even if we lose a battle somewhere else, we will not leave that. We will not leave any of our dead Jawans in their care like they did. We will bring back every dead body and make sure that they reach the village, the parents where they are. And that's what we did during Kargil War, which was a big change that we did. The spirit was strong. And finally, it is the job of HR department to ensure that the spirit remains strong. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
So we are just arranging for a chair and table for you.
Okay, thank you. Can I have some water, please?
Yes, yes, please. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर. आपके प्रेरणादायक और विचारोत्तेजक संबोधन के लिए हम सभी हृदय से आभारी हैं. आपने न केवल ऑपरेशन विजय से लेकर ऑपरेशन सिंदूर तक की गाथा साझा की, बल्कि हमें यह भी बताया कि अनिश्चित समय में नैतिक नेतृत्व कितना आवश्यक है. आपने अपनी अदम्य इच्छा शक्ति और नेतृत्व क्षमता के माध्यम से सभी संघर्षों को अवसर में बदला है. आपके शब्द हमारे मन मस्तिष्क में गूंजते रहेंगे और हमें सदैव राष्ट्र हित में सोचने और कार्य करने की प्रेरणा देंगे। इसी के साथ देवी और सज्जनों, आप सभी जो यहाँ पर उपस्थित हैं और जो अधिकारी एवं कर्मचारीगण हमारे साथ वेबकास्ट से जुड़े हुए हैं, उनसे निवेदन करूँगी कि अगर आपके मन में कोई प्रश्न है जो आप सर से डायरेक्टली पूछना चाहते हैं तो कृपया आगे आएँ। साथ ही मैं निवेदन करूँगी विकास सर की टीम से कि वो यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा माइक वगैरह देने की, जो भी क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहते हैं उनको माइक दिया जाएगा प्लीज़। हाथ खड़ा कर लेंगे जी।
गुड इवनिंग सर। मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि ये ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के जरिए पाक ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर को वापस इंडिया में मिलाने का अच्छा अवसर नहीं था इस बार? इस पर सर कुछ कमेंट करेंगे?
It's a very difficult question that you have asked. हमने पार्लियामेंट के अंदर we have passed a resolution that POK belongs to us. Now, forcibly trying to capture the whole of POK in a war scenario is not easy. It's very difficult. And you have to see the map to realize कि कितना समय लगेगा, कितनी casualties होंगी, और it's not a question of a few days. Then the war will have to carry on for a few months, literally, because of the kind of terrain which is there. The other aspect is that part of that POK has been given by Pakistan to China. There is a place called Shaksgam Valley. That whole valley has been handed over to China by Pakistan since 1963. So these are some of the practical difficulties if you want to make use of force to capture that area. But what can happen, and again it's a possibility that cannot be denied, that if people of POK, they rise against Pakistan, there is a lot of discontentment in that area. And you know that discontentment is increasing every day because they compare themselves with what is happening on our side. One of the reasons why they did in Pahalgam was because they all felt कि हम तो पीछे रह जा रहे हैं. So if that happens, one doesn't know what can, Bangladesh came about like that only, because people in Bangladesh at that time, East Pakistan, they rose against the Pakistan army. So that scenario is not impossible, it's this thing. But just trying to force your way into that, that I think is not possible today. I mean, again, when you are looking at it, you have to look at the capabilities of the Pakistan armed forces. So I'm looking at that also, nuclear weapons and others. So you have to keep that in mind.
Thank you so much for the insights, sir. Do we have some more questions in the hall?
मैं जनरल साहब से एक प्रश्न करना चाहूँगा. ऐसी कौन सी कशिश आपके दिल में रह गई जो आप जिस समय रिटायर हुए इस इंडियन आर्मी से, तो आपको ऐसा लगा कि कुछ चंद मोहलत और आपको दी गई रहती तो आप उसको कर पाते?
नहीं, Mr. Singh, I think it's a good thing that we have a very strong tradition in this, that nobody is generally given extension and nobody asks for it. There have been only one or two rare cases that it has happened earlier. Okay, so however good your relationship may be with the politicians, you never look for any extension because it affects the people who are juniors to you, who are looking forward to this thing. So it's a very strong tradition. Now you will be surprised, the day I retired, on that day in my own car and my luggage which came in the army trucks, we shifted from army house. We don't wait for somebody to say that. That's again part of your you can call it ethos. And so many days after that, once I met the Prime Minister, and he did ask me, and mind you, at one stage, Prime Minister had dinner in my house. And I asked him, so he said, हाँ मैं आऊँगा. And he came and he had dinner in my house, army house में. But we had good relations. I had very good relations. And a few days later, he asked me, he says, General Sahab, आप दिखाई नहीं दिए. Before I shifted to Panchkula. You know, I shifted immediately after that, but a few days before that. So he said, why don't you, आप नज़र नहीं आए, आप आए नहीं. So I told him, I said, sir, आपने बुलाया नहीं. मैं तो नहीं आऊँगा खुद अपने आप. Well, that is the ethos part of it. So we have had rare cases. I think the last chief also was probably given 1 month's extension, etc. But traditionally it is not, I would say that the subordinates look down upon it. You know, after all, we are serving, we are heading that army. So if the army people are going to look down upon it, we don't ask for such favors from the government.
धन्यवाद सर.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. One more question from the audience.
Sir,
Hello. Yes. Sir, you mentioned, sir, I am Anand Prakash, Chief Manager Mining in CCL. I have one question.
Ranchi.
Sir, you mentioned that you had a kind of jhadap with the Defense Minister Mulayam Singh Yadav, and even with the you objected before the Prime Minister. So in an organization like this Indian Army, where command and control is everything, discipline and obedience. So in an organization, when it becomes more important to put forth your point differing the superiors, displeasing them, and when it is more important to obey the instructions and comply them simply. Thank you.
देखो, we all believe in the authority of the civilian political authority. I mean, the Indian Armed Forces, we take an oath on the Constitution. And whatever the Constitution is written, it becomes a law for us. And it becomes our dharma, really. Because we take the oath by putting our hand on the Constitution. Now, the other aspect is that as a leader, I'm now dealing with the lives of the people. I'm not talking of profit and loss. For me, it is the lives of the people. If I take a wrong step and people lose life, is it worth it or not? So I always weigh a particular aspect in that. If there is a chance that I might lose men in a particular, I will say, no, it's not correct. At least I'll put up my point of view. And it's for the other person to agree, the political authority, to agree or not to agree. And you have to convince them also. I mean, it's not that आप unnecessary पंगा नहीं लेने की ज़रूरत है, but you have to put across your point of view, okay, look, this is not the right thing. Now, I mentioned to you about Mulayam Singh. I'm giving you a live example. There were some elections due in Tripura once. And I was that time not chief, but I was vice chief, but about to take over as a chief. And he said कि वो वहाँ पर कुछ law and order की situation है और आप troops भेज दीजिए त्रिपुरा में. Now I was getting my feedback from the normal chain of command, you know, कि वहाँ पर. So I said election में छोटे मोटे जो झगड़े होते हैं, the police is supposed to sort it out. Why should we get involved in that kind of a situation? The army should not get. So I said no, I don't think it is required. So uske upar he got a little angry on the phone, and I told him, I said, sir, I'm not going to send the men because they are not required. It's not necessary. And you have to understand, why do you want to get us involved in your electioneering, whatever it has happened? It's not good for the country. He didn't say anything after that. But I think that particular conversation जब हुआ हमारा telephone के ऊपर ही, he did say कि अच्छा मैं देख लूँगा and all that. But as I said, subsequently he gave me full respect. You know, he would always ask me कि आप क्या आपके विचार में ये काम होना चाहिए, नहीं होना चाहिए, क्या हुआ? We became more friendly and more dependent on each other. So it's not that we need to take pangas. We have to you know, at that level you have to अपने ठंडे दिमाग से एक दूसरे को समझाने की कोशिश करनी होती है. And that is more important. So it's not a question of कि आज मैंने आपको sack कर दिया. That cannot happen. I mean, you try and sack a chief. It's not so easy. When one of our naval chief was sacked, so I don't know whether you people know the hangama that carried on for so many days in the country. But what is important here is that as you become senior, you have to realize you have a certain responsibility, and you must give your point of view to the other person. Try and convince the other person. Don't take unnecessary panga. That's not required. And whatever you do, थोड़ा दिमाग ठंडे दिमाग से सोच के और convince करने की एक दूसरे को कोशिश होनी चाहिए. I was lucky, I can say that after so many years, I was lucky that we had an excellent Prime Minister, and I had full support of people. You know, whatever operationally I wanted to do, nobody said no to that. I kept them informed that I am doing these things. Then nobody questioned me on that. He says, like your domain, you do what you think is right.
Ji, thank you so much, sir. The next question we are going to take from our Director HR, sir.
Good evening, sir. My only question is, after all, we all, as you said, that we are taking oath on Constitution and we are going by the civilians' rules and regulations. You also work under political leadership and will. Is there any time when you feel that you are the leader of the organization, you are having millions of people under you who are looking at you for directions or convince or whatever welfare? At times these are contradictory from the political will, and how you convince yourself that yes, you are going to obey the political will, and at the same time you are going to safeguard your person who is looking at you.
I'll give you an example.
Sir.
My personal example. I think it was, if I remember, 10th of July, 10th or 11th of July 99. I got a call from the Prime Minister to his house, which was quite frequent those days. And he said, yeah, Pakistan wants to have a ceasefire with us. And mind you, this was, we were hearing about it a few days earlier also. But the Prime Minister had never spoken to me कि ceasefire करना है नहीं करना है. But that day, we were three of us, Brijesh Mishra, me and Prime Minister, and he said कि they want ceasefire, so should we agree to that? So my first answer was no, I am not accepting it. You know? And so he says, you know, आप क्या चाहते हैं? So I told him, I said that we want to not only we want to cross the border on line of control to show, and we were doing very well. I said, now that we are doing so well, and those people are running away, not able to fight, and we are in an advantageous position, why should we give it up here? Why shouldn't we go on the other side? So he said, but kitne din lagenge? I said, might take about 15 days more. Then his next question was, casualties hongi? So I said, sir, casualties को मैं कैसे बोलूँ? लड़ाई में तो casualties होती हैं. I can't say कि नहीं होंगी. तो casualties को तो accept करना पड़ेगा अगर हम भी चाहते हैं तो. So अच्छा सोचिए. So I got away from there. I said, sir, I have to consult my colleagues also and my subordinates also before we accept this ceasefire. So I came home. I came to my office, met the other two chiefs, उनसे बातचीत की कि this is what is thinking. So they, one of them felt that we should finish it off. We have achieved the aim, and these people are now running away, and the mandate given to us was clear the area of these intruders, and which we are able to do that. And the other person said, no, we should carry on and all. I came back to the Prime Minister. Again, I told him, I said, sir, मैं तो नहीं मानता हूँ इस बात को. So now he said, you know, हमारी सरकार जो है interim government है. And it was interim government those days. तो I said, वो आपका काम है, मेरा काम तो नहीं है उसके बीच में. He said, हमको election कराने हैं. So again I told him, I said, sir, वो आपका काम है, मुझे क्यों फंसा रहे हो उसके बीच में आप? I'm giving you the actual conversation that took place. I've mentioned it in my book also, may not be in so many details. So he said, नहीं आप सोचिए इस बात को, अभी अगर हम माने नहीं सीज फायर तो वो पूरी दुनिया जो हमको सपोर्ट कर रही है वो भी नहीं करेगी. You know, by that time there was a huge international support that we had got that time, and even President Clinton had arm twisted Nawaz Sharif, and that's what he made him sign a particular order also, an agreement also, that they will not they will not remain on the other side of the ceasefire line. So, Sir Sochi, third time I went and I told him, I said, then I spoke to my subordinate commanders and others and all, and we took a decision, okay, let this, because it is in the overall national interest. I as a soldier want to do something, because I am in an advantageous position. I want to take revenge of my people who have been lost. But the Prime Minister is looking at it differently. He's looking at the international community. He's looking at the domestic politics, economy. After all, war is a very costly effort, all these aspects. So third time I told him, I said, okay. Now, does it answer your question?
Definitely, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. And
So
I guess due to
across
paucity
your
of the
point
time.
of view, you put across your point of view, but it is not, and I had till today, I have accepted it everywhere. I said initially I had objection to what he wanted, but subsequently I conceded and I said, ठीक है sir, आप जो बोलेंगे.
Ji. So the last question, Sanjeev sir, please.
Of a soldier. That is where your experience comes into play. And your experience makes you think coolly and not get emotional. Emotions cannot be denied. They're there in everybody's mind, okay? But then, as you said, you learn from your experiences. And it is one of the things is that in a crisis, remain cool. Don't start jumping around or shouting at each other. वो नहीं होना चाहिए. That's something which you are taught all the time. So, if somebody does something, you can give him a patient hearing, and then told him what is advice, what is the correct advice. So similarly, at the higher level also, you control your emotions and try and curb the emotions and think logically, कि इसका आगे फायदा क्या है, नुकसान क्या है, what are the pros and cons, and then take a decision. That becomes important. And that's where intuition comes. Finally, it is the intuition of the soldier. And that comes only from experience, nothing else.
Right. Thank you so much, sir, for the valuable insight. And I think at this point, we would take one question that we have received from the webcast. So the question says, could you please throw some light on the relevance of military ethos in corporate governance?
There is a lot to learn. In fact, in my talk, I said certain things which the corporate is not doing. Like, for example, the bonding that is capable, that you are capable of, if you also include the spouses with your thing. Generally the attitude is कि 9 से लेकर 5 बजे तक सबने काम किया, वो घर में गए तो छोड़ दिया. But if you were to include the families, say once in 2 months or 3 months, and have an event where you get to know each other's wife, children, all these things, it increases the bonding. It improves the bonding. It gives the loyalty. So that's one thing that I would like to advise, because the other aspect which I have always emphasized, and today also I have been emphasizing here, leadership training is not only meant for the vice presidents and presidents and directors or general managers and all. it has to start from the word go. When the boy comes and he does, any boy or a girl comes and they join the organization, start making them think of becoming a leader two up. So don't just think that leadership is किताब में पढ़ के आ जाएगी, वो नहीं आएगी, उसको पढ़ाना पड़ता है, उसको प्रैक्टिस देनी पड़ती है. So that is another important aspect.
Ji, thank you so much for the insight, sir. I hope that answers the question.
Hello. One online question has been put in place. Today, even one nuclear bomb can destroy the whole region. Why country are storing so much of nuclear bomb which combined together can destroy the whole universe?
Therefore, I have not seen somebody, but let me answer that. You see, nuclear weapons, you can call it Brahmastra. I have always called them Brahmastra. They are not meant to be used in humanity. They are not meant to be used. But unfortunately, somebody has created that Brahmastra. And because somebody has created and has given more power to the other person, to that person. So then you become, there is no equity then. Then you become unequal. You become subordinate and the ruler. So therefore, it was necessary for India to have its own Brahmastra, which we did. But no rational person or any rational leader should be thinking of using it. I mean, I'm a great believer in that. It's a deterrent now. Don't use it, because otherwise we'll be forced to use it against you. And then hum to marenge, to tumko to sare. As I said, I always say to the Pakistani, I said, we may lose some people, we will lose some people, but there will be no Pakistan tomorrow. So, having said that, again, I'm insisting that unfortunately somebody has created such a weapon in the world. So you have to guard against it. You cannot compromise your territorial integrity or your quality of life or your beliefs and your values, etc. And therefore it has become necessary to have a deterrent for that. But I hope and pray that nobody ever has to use this nuclear weapon.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. This brings us to the...
Ji.
We have one more question.
Okay. Do we have more
Do
questions?
you have more question, please?
Good evening, sir. Which type of problem are faced by Operation Sindoor and Operation Vijay, sir?
I have not understood.
Can we repeat the question,
I have not understood.
Which type of problem are faced by you, sir, Operation Vijay and Operation Sindoor?
I am not involved today. I'm as good a civilian as you are. And the fact is that, yes, I remain loyal to the army. If they ever ask for my advice, I give them. My son is in the army, wherever he is posted. But the government did not ask me anything during Operation Sindoor. And in any case, I also feel that I'm outdated a bit, because 25 years ago I retired, and now you have new weapons and equipment, etc. So I can work on strategy, I can talk about that, and I can write about that. But, there is a totally different scenario. आप विजय के टाइम के ऊपर हालात जो थे वो बिल्कुल ही अलग थे, और मैंने बताया आपको किस टाइप के चैलेंजेस थे. इस बार जो हुआ है, जो झड़प हुई है, उसके बीच में हम लोग we are living in a totally different atmosphere. The political will, the political resolve is different. The kind of weaponry that we have got is different. And the kind of hurt that we felt this time was even more than what happened in Kargil. After all, Kargil में तो civilians इतने नहीं थे उस area में. They came and occupied some of our territories, but none of our civilians were killed in this manner. So this time, and circumstances change. So you have to fight accordingly, you have to work accordingly. And that's what has happened now. But I tried to explain to you what happened in between and what has been our response generally. When Pakistan did this, and we sent a very strong message this time.
Gee, thank you so much, sir. Although you have fought the war 25 years before, but definitely your experiences are valuable in safeguarding the interest of our nation. The next question is coming from...
My regards to you. Sir, my question is the media coverage that is shown during the war scenario and the time the war is actually held, is in any way a problem, a threat for the country, or it is as okay as it is shown and the war is covered by the media personals?
Look, firstly, in today's environment, information war is become a very important aspect of our strategy, both at political level as well as military level. And it has made information war more difficult thanks to social media that is prevalent today and the kind of channels that we have got all the time having to say something 24/7, all those channels, etc. So it's become more challenging, more difficult also. And there are certain aspects that you want to discuss in public. There are many aspects that you don't want to this thing. But the policy that I followed during Kargil War, I told my subordinate commanders that if you are asked a question, a factual question, speak the truth. Say what is the truth about that. But don't give your opinion, and don't think of, if somebody is asking you about the future, don't have to answer that question. And that is what we have been following all along. But as I said, it's become more challenging. You have to inform people. Now, I'll give you another story. During Kargil War, these people, Pakistan Army and Pakistan public, they all thought that ye jihadis hain. These people are, we have sent them into Indian territory and they are occupying Indian territory. So, when we captured their letters, we captured their weapons, we captured some of their official letters, and then we had to show them, we showed them on the TV channels. And that made the Pakistani public go against Pakistan Army when they learned the truth. And when they realized, that their 270 odd bodies had been left behind in our territory, and we had buried them with proper ceremonies and all that. So you can imagine the kind of demoralization that was created on the other side. So both for raising the morale, not only of the armed forces, but also of the public, and giving an impression that whatever we are doing is the right thing that we are doing. You have to indulge in information war, if I can use that word, basically. Now, this time, I found that our, not only the politicians, but our channels also have become jingoistic. Now, jingoistic language is never good. Politicians ignorant होते हैं तो हम उनको माफ भी कर सकते हैं. But TV channel वाला अगर वो कर रहा है because he is speaking to thousands and lakhs of people, उसको jingoistic नहीं होना चाहिए. And that's my impression. So sometimes on my own I have taken on interviews only to make people aware of what is the right thing and what is the correct thinking on those things. But today everybody wants to be in front of the camera. तो अभी वो YouTube ने और भी गड़बड़ कर दिया है क्योंकि everybody wants a podcast and then put it on YouTube. It's become more challenging now. But it's a very risky thing that we are indulging in. And I believe that the media particularly has to control itself. And it should realize its responsibility. if something is not to be said, they should not talk about it. There were many people who asked me this question, what is the, hamare losses nahi bataye hain and all. I said, it is not in your interest to know that. You know? So I said, I don't know. And, you know, कि हमारे कितने प्लेन गिने, उन्होंने बोला 5 प्लेन गिने, is it correct or not? I said, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not going to ask anybody also, because it would be a wrong question to ask anybody. So I believe that media has to play a responsible role in the interest of the country and interest of the armed forces, because we are now talking of lives. You know, we are not talking of profit and losses. तो उसके लिए बड़े responsibility की ज़रूरत है. और similarly, people who, all types of talks that take place on social media, for example, that also we need to control. आजकल WhatsApp की वजह से 100 messages are copied, you know, forward करके भेजते, whether it is right or wrong. So I believe that all of us have to be very responsible in this aspect of the information, spread of awareness, if you could call it.
Thank you so much, sir. Very relevant. The last question is coming from Sri C.S. Tiwari, sir.
Respected General, sir, मेरा क्वेश्चन जो है ऑपरेशन सिंदूर से रिलेटेड है. जब ऑपरेशन सिंदूर स्टार्ट हुआ, उसके 1-2 दिन के अंदर ही ये पूरा ऑलमोस्ट क्लियर हो गया था कि इस बार तो हम लोग पाकिस्तान को मजा चखा करके ही दम लेंगे, और हमने चखाना शुरू भी कर दिया था. लेकिन यकायक जो है अगले दिन, मे बी ऑन 9th प्रोबेबली और 10th, सडनली हमारे फॉरेन सेक्रेटरी साहब ने अनाउंस किया कि हम सीज फायर करने जा रहे हैं. उसके बाद सर बहुत उनकी क्रिटिसिज्म भी हुई इस बात को लेके. तो सर इसको आप किस रूप में देखते हैं? तो इसको क्रिटिसाइज करना अप्रोप्रिएट है?
I'm also guilty. Okay, I'm guilty because one of my first statement, which I think some press caught it, was I said only the future will decide whether it has been a good deterrent, strong deterrent or not. I made use of that. So people did ask me this question. Again, a soldier in me wanted to punish them harder. Exactly what came to my mind during Kargil War also. But then there are other aspects of it. So you have to keep that in mind. And I think the government has taken a decision. They have said that we have not finished the operation, but we have given it a pause. So we don't know about what will happen tomorrow. So I think we'll follow that, and I think that's the correct policy that has been followed at the moment. It keeps people on guard. It keeps people on the alert. There are still practicing some of the drills along the border areas. I think that's a correct decision which has been taken by the government.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. This was the end of this question answer series. Thank you so much, sir, for this exhilarating, goosebump stirring and soul stirring speech which we all were a part of it. CCL is really proud to have hosted you, sir, and we are indebted to Coal India for giving us the platform to be one. Thank you so much for your time, sir. I would request GM HRD sir to escort sir to the seating arena. Sir. Yes, yes, yes.
You are very good in whatever you speak.
Thank you.
Compliments to you.
Thank you so much.
I must compliment before I sit down, thank your organization, and particularly the HR department. I think they have done extremely well the way they have organized it, and the way they have been very patient with me, listening so intently and so well. So thank you very much and well done, and hope to see you sometime later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for sir, please? General Ved Prakash Malik, sir. As we move, please be seated. Please be seated. As we move ahead with the event, it is incomplete to lead us through the program without hearing our head of the family. So our chairman cum managing director, Shri Nilendra Kumar Singh sir. Sir has always been a guiding light for us, and we are eager to hear his thoughts and insight on this momentous day for CCL. Please join me in extending a heartfelt welcome as we invite sir to address us in this enormous event. Shri Nilendra Kumar Singh sir.
हमारी उम्र CCL, हमारी से मतलब है CCL एंड CIL की पूरे 50 वर्ष होने चले हैं। और इस मौके पे आपका यहाँ उपस्थित होना जनरल वेद प्रकाश मलिक साहब हमारे CCL और CIL फ्रेटर्निटी को बहुत ही गौरवान्वित करता है। पूरे CIL परिवार की ओर से आपको सत सत नमन। आपके साथ बिताए हुए करीब 1.5 से 2 घंटे के समय ऐसे लगे जैसे कि बिल्कुल चंद लम्हे हों जो अभी आया और अभी निकलने वाला है। वो 2 पत्र जो आपने दिखाए, बहुत दिन के बाद आंखें छलक पड़ी, और वो भी उस जोश और जज्बे की जहां एक जिद महसूस किया गया जो इंडियन आर्मी का जो 3 न से लिखा हुआ शब्द है, नाम, नमक और निशान, उसके साथ में मैं ये आपसे आग्रह करूंगा कि ये जोश, जज्बा और जिद इसको भी जोड़ लिया जाए। जहां हृदय और मस्तिष्क दोनों मिले वहीं सफलता वो हाथ लगती है। बहुत सारे ऐसे प्रश्न आए जो बहुत कठिनतम थे और मैं आपके उस जवाब का इंतजार करता रहा कि आप कैसे मुश्किल दौर से गुजरते हुए किसी चीज़ को बड़े कन्विंसिंग कैपेसिटी तक ले जाते हैं, और शायद आज आपका विषय भी उद्बोधन का यही रहा। लीडरशिप क्या है, क्या होना चाहिए, इसकी परिभाषा विभिन्न किताबों में, पुस्तकों में बिल्कुल अलग अलग लिखी हुई हैं, पर आपने जितनी सरलता और सुगमता से इस लीडरशिप को समझाया और हमारे बीच रखा, लगा कि जैसे एक कोई नया ही आयाम हो, और उसमें केवल बातें थीं हमारे संस्कार, हमारे संस्कृति, हमारी प्रतिबद्धता और हमारे लगन, हमारा विश्वास। और जितनी भी कहानियां शुरू से सारे ग्रंथों में लिखी गई हैं, महाभारत के उस उद्धरण को हमारे एक जांबाज ने अपने पत्र में प्रेषित किया अपने पिताजी को। मैं आपकी माताजी को पूरे CCL, पूरे CIL की परिवार से प्रणाम अर्पित करता हूं, जिन्होंने ऐसे सपूत पैदा किए, जिन्होंने इस कारगिल वॉर के समय में इस देश का नाम रोशन किया। आप हर प्रतिभा के धनी हैं। आपके बारे में जितनी कही जाए वो काफी कम है। आप इतने सरल हैं, ये आज पहली बार एहसास हुआ। आपने जिस तरीके से बताया कि मुश्किल समय में लीडर को क्या करना चाहिए, कहां आप किसी एक दिशा की ओर अपने पूरे ध्यान को रखे हुए हैं, और जब देश की ज़रूरतों के सामने आपको उस दिशा को भी छोड़ना पड़े तो उसके लिए भी आप समर्पित हैं। जहां देश बचाने के लिए आप समर्पित हैं, वहां देश क्या चाहता है उसके लिए भी आप समर्पित हैं। जब से आप फौज में आए इस जवान रूपी रूप में, और जब तक आप फौज में रहे, और आज भी जिस तरीके की आपकी मानसिक प्रतिबद्धता है, आपने त्याग और बलिदान, ये 2 शब्द को बहुत ही अच्छे से परिभाषित किया है। बहुत सारे ऐसे मौके जहां आपका मस्तिष्क कुछ और बोल रहा था, पर करने को कुछ और दिशा तय की गई, वहां भी आपने देश को सुना, आपने देश को चुना। यही एक मिलिट्री का जो एक रूप है वो सामने प्रदर्शित होता है, और यही कारण है कि जहां हम लोग अपने परिवार में केवल नाना जी, दादाजी, पिताजी, मौसा मौसी तक उलझे रहते, आप पूरे 140 करोड़ जनता को अपनी परिवार मानते। आप ताकत हमारी हैं, तो ये भी विश्वास दिलाना चाहता हूं आपको कि हम भी आपकी ताकत हैं, क्योंकि उस मुकाम पे जहां आज हम लोग अभी कुछ दिन पहले 2-3 दिन के समय में ही ये प्रदर्शित करने में पूरी तरह सफल हुए कि आप जो पड़ोस में हैं थोड़ा संभल के रहिए, हमारी ताकत को कम नहीं आकिए। पर आपको एक बात बताना चाहूँगा कि क्षमा सोवती उस भुजंग को जिसके पास करल हो। और ये आपने फिर से इस चंद दिनों में ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के तहत ये साबित किया इंडियन मिलिट्री ने कि क्षमा हमारे ही हक में होना चाहिए, और क्षमा वही कर सकता जिसके पास जहर उगलने की ताकत हो। शायद ये जो अभी ऑपरेशन सिंदूर हुआ, ये आने वाले समय के लिए मील का पत्थर साबित होगा। जहां तक 2-4 लाइन में ही अपने इस कोल इंडस्ट्री को इसमें समन्वयित करने की मैं प्रयास करूं, तो मैं आपको केवल एक चीज बताना चाहूंगा। मेरी भी इच्छा जब मैं 10वीं क्लास में था तो मिलिट्री में जाने की बहुत होती थी, क्योंकि मेरी परवरिश एक ऐसे स्थान से हुई जहां मिलिट्री के बेस थे, और मैं नित्य हर दिन उस मिलिट्री के परेड को देखा करता था जब मैं स्कूल जाया करता था। आप लोग बहुत लोग उस जगह से वाकिफ़ होंगे, जनरल साहब तो होंगे ही। ये बिहार का मुंगेर जिले का जमालपुर वो एक जगह है जहाँ से मेरी शिक्षा दीक्षा हुई, और मैं पूरे 10 साल उस मिलिट्री के कदम ताल को मैंने देखा है, उस समन्वय को देखा है, उनके जोश को देखा है, उस वर्दी पे लगे उस तारे को देखा है, जिसकी परिकल्पना हमेशा से करता आया कि काश ये मौका मुझे भी कभी मिलता। कहीं ना कहीं इसको पाने में असमर्थ रहा, पर मैं आपको विशेष रूप से धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ कि यदि उस दिन मैं वो मुकाम हासिल कर भी लेता तो शायद मुझे आपके जैसे शीर्षस्त्र अधिकारी के बगल में बैठने का मुझे ये सौभाग्य प्राप्त नहीं होता। आपने जो ये सौभाग्य मुझे दिया है स्पेशली, इसके लिए मैं कृतज्ञ हूँ। CCL, CIL, इसको मैं इंजीनियरिंग के रूप में यदि देखूं तो कभी किसी ने बोला कि आप इंजीनियरिंग करने के बाद में एक ऐसे इंडस्ट्री में आए हैं जहां हर कुछ वो प्रकृति के खिलाफ है। तो फिर से वही बातें याद आई कि जहां जाने की कोशिश किया, शायद उस जगह ना जाके उसके समकक्ष उतनी ताकत के साथ तो नहीं, बट जोश और जज्बे में कहीं कमी नहीं थी, वैसी जगह तो पहुंच ही गया हूं। हम लोग भी सर 24 घंटे अनवरत धूप, बरसात, ठंड सबको झेलते हुए अक्रॉस 8 स्टेट्स, 8 राज्यों में अनवरत काम करते हुए 8 सब्सिडियरियों के मार्फत से देश को वो ऊर्जा देने में सफल हुए हैं जिसे जिसकी देश को आवश्यकता है। आपने कुछ चंद आंकड़े रखे हमारे बीच। मैं आपको और भी कोल इंडस्ट्री के छोटे से आंकड़े से मैं आपको ये बताना चाहूँगा कि जब सन 75 में हमारी शुरुआत हुई थी CIL और CCL दोनों की, तब हम लोग करीब करीब 80 मिलियन टन के आसपास उत्पादन किया करते थे CIL, और आज 50वीं वर्ष में हम लोग 800 मिलियन के करीब हैं। तो 10 गुना प्रगति जो हम लोगों ने की है, उसमें देश को आने वाले समय में 1.2 बिलियन टन की आवश्यकता है 2030 तक। तो हम भी उसी जोश और जज्बे, उसी दिमाग और हृदय से इस देश की सेवा में लगे हैं। मैं आपको ये विश्वास दिलाता हूँ कि इस देश के उन्नति, इस देश के तरक्की के लिए कोल इंडिया अपना कोई भी और छोर कसर वो नहीं छोड़ सकता। यहाँ जहाँ हमारी स्वाधीनता की बात हो, हमारे विकसित राष्ट्र होने की बात हो, आज प्रधानमंत्री हर चीज में आत्मनिर्भर करने की बात करते हैं, तो जो ऑपरेशन सिंदूर में हम लोगों ने देखा कि कैसे हमारे ब्रह्मोस चले और कैसे हमारे आकाश ने उन सारे द्रोणों को धराशाही किया, मैं आपको विश्वास दिलाना चाहता हूँ कि आने वाले समय में ये कोल इंडिया भी किसी तरीके से कहीं भी पीछे नहीं रहेगा इस देश को उन्नत बनाने में, इस देश को विकसित बनाने में। जितनी ऊर्जा की जरूरत इस देश को है, हम लोग प्रतिबद्ध हैं, हम लोग कटिबद्ध हैं उसको पूरा करने के लिए। और आपने जो आज प्रेरणा हमारे बीच आकर भरी, इससे लगता है कि जो हम लोगों का एक एक्शन प्लान है, जैसा आपने कहा भी कि प्लानिंग जो है वो शुरू का चीज़ है, अंत भला तो सब भला। तो मैं आपको ये विश्वास दिलाना चाहता हूँ कि हम लोग भी कहीं इस अंत को भला करने में नहीं चूकेंगे और आने वाला समय इस भारत हमारे देश के लिए बहुत ही अच्छा रहेगा। मैं इतनी भीड़ इस प्रांगण में बहुत कम देखा हूँ। लगता है आपके आने से हम लोग भी प्रफुल्लित हुए हैं, हम लोग भी सुसज्जित हुए हैं। बट केवल एक तारे की कमी है, कुछ बिल्लों की कमी है, पर आपको इतना जरूर विश्वास दिलाना चाहता हूं कि आप जहां हैं वहां किसी भी चीज की दिक्कतें नहीं होंगी। उसके लिए हम लोग सतत प्रयत्नशील रहते हैं। कुछ प्रश्न यहाँ से आए जिसमें ये भी भावना थी कि हमें कुछ चीज़ें हासिल करनी चाहिए थी, तो मैं तो सिविलियन हूँ, मैं तो हर कुछ बोल सकता हूँ। आपके बीच कहीं ना कहीं वो एक तारा और एक वो चीज़ वादा है। तो मैं ये बोलना चाहता हूँ कि ये आम भारतीयों की भाषा है। एक चीज़ मैंने बोला कि क्षमा सोबती उस भुजंग को जिसके पास गरल हो, और यही भारतीय सभ्यता की पहचान रही है शुरू से। एक दूसरा लाइन मैं बोलना चाहूँगा, गालिब जो पुराने शायर, काफ़ी फेमस शायर हुआ करते थे, उन्होंने कहा खून के बारे में कि रगों में दौड़ने फिरने कि हम नहीं कायल, जुबां से ही यदि नहीं टपका तो फिर लहू क्या है। धन्यवाद, इतना पेशेंटली आपने सुना हमें, इसके लिए विशेष रूप से धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir, for this exhilarating speech. I would not take a moment and request General Ved Prakash Malik, sir, to please come on the dais. On behalf of CCL, we would be presenting a small token of appreciation and gratitude, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause, please? The clap shouldn't be stopping here. Can we have a huge round of applause, please? Thank you, sir. We'd request for the unveiling of this picture as well, sir. One, sir, one. Only one. This picture resembles the time sir was there at the dais and presenting us his keynote address. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, thank you. Yes, would request sir to be please seated. Thank you, sir.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर। आज के इस कार्यक्रम के अंत की ओर हम अग्रसर हैं। मैं सविनय निवेदन करूंगी जनरल मैनेजर वेलफेयर मैडम रेखा पांडे से कि वे धन्यवाद ज्ञापन के लिए मंच पर उपस्थित हों।
जोहार, अभिनंदन, हम गौरवान्वित हैं। सीसीएल परिवार अपनी कंपनी के संस्थापकों को श्रद्धा सुमन अर्पित करते हुए धन्यवाद देती है कि आज आपका शौर्य पताका CIL स्वर्ण जयंती मनाकर फहरा रहा है। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर की शानदार जीत की लालिमा अभी चारों ओर है और अभी ऑपरेशन विजय के नेतृत्व का, जिन्होंने कारगिल शौर्य गाथा गाने का अवसर हम देशवासियों को दिया कि यहाँ उपस्थिति है, यह समय को धन्यवाद है। CIL गोल्डन जुबली सीरीज में परम विशिष्ट, अति विशिष्ट श्रद्धेय जनरल श्री वेद प्रकाश मल्लिक सर को मुख्य वक्ता के रूप में सुनने का सुनहरा सुअवसर प्राप्त हुआ। योद्धा के समक्ष गुरु गोविंद सिंह जी की युद्ध आह्वान अतिशयोक्ति नहीं होगी। देहु शिवा वर मोहे, शुभ कर्मंते कबहू न टरूं, न डरूं अरिसो, जब जाए लड़ूं, निश्चय कर अपनी जीत करूं, निश्चय कर अपनी जीत करूं। सर, आपकी चरण धूलि से हमारी कंपनी में तप त्याग की भावना में एक्सपोनेंशियली वृद्धि अवश्य होगी। आपकी गरिमामयी उपस्थिति, प्रेरणादायी वक्तव्य के लिए हम हार्दिक आभार व्यक्त करते हैं। दिशा दीप्त हो उठी पाकर पुण्य प्रकाश तुम्हारा, भाग्य मेरा है कि मैं एक भारतीय हूँ। हमें गर्व है कि लेक्चर सीरीज के आयोजन से यहाँ हम सभी ने देशभक्त के ज्ञान, बलिदान की भावनाओं को एक साथ सांसों में पिरोया है। हम अपनी कर्मभूमि को धन्यवाद देते हैं कि वह ऐसी जगह अवस्थित है जहां CIL की 3 इकाइयां CMPDI, IICM और CCL में आए विशिष्ट वक्ताओं को सुनने का साक्षात अवसर प्राप्त हो सकता है। सरलता, सज्जनता व विद्वता की प्रतिमूर्ति हमारी कंपनी के प्रमुख और हम सभी के प्रेरणा के स्रोत, मन स्पर्शी अंतर्दृष्टि साझा के लिए बड़े गर्व के साथ परम आदरणीय अध्यक्ष सह प्रबंध निदेशक श्री नीलेंदु कुमार सिंह सर का हार्दिक कृतज्ञता प्रकट करती हूँ। आपके मार्गदर्शन में जोश, जज्बे और जिद के साथ कंपनी दिन प्रतिदिन नए मील के पत्थर हासिल करने और सफलता की और ऊंचाइयां छूने के लिए ललक रही है। कंपनी का प्रत्येक व्यक्ति आपसे जुड़ाव महसूस करता है। आपके व्यक्त अव्यक्त दृष्टिकोण का हमारे प्रयासों पर सकारात्मक प्रभाव पड़ता है। आत्मविश्वास से लबरेज, नई सोच समझ तथा कर्मीगण के कल्याण हेतु निरंतर कार्य करने का गौरव प्राप्त निदेशक मानव संसाधन आदरणीय श्री HN मिश्रा सर, आपके सतत प्रयास, बारीकी विश्लेषण एवं हौसला अफजाई से CCL द्वारा आज का कार्यक्रम सफलतापूर्वक अपने पड़ाव पर है के लिए आपका सहृदय धन्यवाद है। अनुशासन प्रिय, समयबद्धता, अनंत अविरल मार्गदर्शक, निदेशक परियोजना एवं संचालन आदरणीय श्री CS तिवारी सर, आपका हम तहे दिल से शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं। पूर्ण समर्पण और दूरदृष्टि तथा विकास के पर्याय हैं निदेशक परियोजना एवं नियोजन आदरणीय श्री शंकर नागाचारी सर, आपका हम धन्यवाद प्रकट करते हैं। अपने क्षेत्र में विद्वता प्राप्त श्री अजय कुमार, डायरेक्टर टेक्निकल प्लानिंग एंड डिजाइन CMPDI, हम आपका धन्यवाद प्रकट करते हैं। आपकी उपस्थिति ने इस आयोजन के महत्व को सुदृढ़ किया है। एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर IICM आदरणीय मैम कामाक्षी रमन, आपके कार्यक्रम के प्रति उत्कंठा एवं तत्परता के लिए हम कोटि कोटि धन्यवाद करते हैं। एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर CDCIL और एक बढ़िया कवि आदरणीय श्री OP मिश्रा सर, CIL का प्रतिनिधित्व रांची में स्वयं आकर करने हेतु आपका कोटि कोटि धन्यवाद है। आदरणीय क्षेत्रीय महाप्रबंधक, जिनका मिशन फर्स्ट, नेशन फर्स्ट, कंपनी फर्स्ट पर आधारित कार्यशैली है, आपको कोटि कोटि धन्यवाद। यहाँ पर उपस्थित क्षेत्र से आए अन्य अधिकारीगण, विभागाध्यक्ष CCL, CIL से आए अधिकारीगण, IICM, CMPDI और मुख्यालय एवं अन्य सब्सिडरीज से आए तथा जो ऑनलाइन मोड में हमसे जुड़े हैं, इस व्याख्यान में अपनी उपस्थिति सुनिश्चित करने के लिए प्रत्येक सम्मानित अतिथि का हम कृतज्ञता प्रकट करते हैं। चुनौतियों का सामना करना हमें जीवन की अन्य चुनौतियों से निपटने के लिए इस प्रतियोगी संसार में जीवित रहना भी सिखाता है। मैं यहाँ उपस्थित हमारे कर्मियों का प्रतिनिधित्व करते कोल माइंस ऑफिसर्स एसोसिएशन ऑफ इंडिया, सेफ्टी बोर्ड, JCSC, वेलफेयर बोर्ड, सिस्टा, ऑल इंडिया SC/ST OBC कोऑर्डिनेशन काउंसिल के माननीय सदस्य का हम सहृदय धन्यवाद करते हैं। आपका आना टीम वर्क में दृढ़ विश्वास दिखलाता है। प्रेस एवं मीडिया से आए हमारे बंधु बांधव का हम आभार प्रकट करते हैं, जिनके द्वारा हमारी पहुंच, हमारा आइडिया व्यापक एवं विस्तार लेगा। Sir, we all have come together like one. देशभक्ति के अलग को जगाए रखने के लिए प्रण लेते हुए हम आपको धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करते हैं। महाप्रबंधक मानव संसाधन विकास श्री रामकृष्ण केटनेनी द्वारा इस पड़ाव की जिम्मेदारी मुझे सौंपने के लिए हम उनका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करते हैं। सभी को सहृदय नमस्कार एवं कोटि कोटि धन्यवाद। धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मैडम। अब अंत की तरफ हम अग्रेसित हैं बिल्कुल, और आज के इस व्याख्यान को अगर मैं संक्षेप में आपके सामने कुछ पंक्तियों के साथ पेश करूं आपसे आज्ञा लेने से पहले, तो पंक्तियां कहती हैं, सोने को जितना आग लगे उतना ही प्रखर निखरता है, सोने को जितना आग लगे उतना ही प्रखर निखरता है, हीरे को जितनी धार लगे उतना ही खूब चमकता है, मिट्टी का बर्तन पकता है तब धुन पर खूब खनकता है, मिट्टी का बर्तन पकता है तब धुन पर खूब खनकता है, सूरज जैसा बनना है तो सूरज जैसा जलना होगा, सूरज जैसा बनना है तो सूरज जैसा जलना होगा, नदियों सा आदर पाना है तो पर्वत छोड़ निकलना होगा, और हम आदम के बेटे हैं, और हम आदम के बेटे हैं, क्यों सोचे कि राह सरल होगी, कुछ ज़्यादा वक्त लगेगा, कुछ ज़्यादा वक्त लगेगा, पर संघर्ष ज़रूर सफल होगा। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। अंत की तरफ अग्रसर हैं हम। आप सभी से निवेदन करूंगी कि आप अपने ही स्थान पर खड़े होकर हमारे राष्ट्रगान में सम्मिलित हों। तत्पश्चात आप सभी से निवेदन करूंगी कि जो जलपान बाहर आप सभी के लिए रेडी किया गया है उसके लिए प्रस्थान करेंगे। टेक्निकल टीम, नेशनल एंथम प्लीज।
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा, तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मागे, गाहे तव जय गाथा, जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
वंदे मातरम। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। The high tea has been arranged in the right and the left wing of this auditorium. Everybody is requested to please proceed for the same. The dignitaries are requested